Chapter 36. How dare you ask me for a reason? Lin Momo shouted angrily, you are bodyguards, not spectators. What were you doing when my daughter and I were in danger? You cowered when your master was in danger. Do you think it's necessary for bodyguards like you? You can't blame us. He is the one to blame. Zhang Dixing seemed to have thought about what to say. He pointed at Qin Haodong and said, if he hadn't provoked Brother Long, he wouldn't have caused such a big trouble. Qin Haodong glanced at Zhang Dixing. Zhang Dixing then remembered that he was a tough guy and stepped back involuntarily. As bodyguards of the Lin family, you were already scared when you saw a gangster. How dare you put the blame on others? You are paid by others, but you can't even guarantee that the little master can play in the amusement park. But just now my daughter was insulted and her hair was about to be torn off. Where were you guys? People like you don't even deserve to be men, let alone bodyguards. Get out of here before I get angry. Yes. Coward, get out of here. Get out of here. The little fellow also shouted. Zhang Dixing's face was hot. He knew he was in the wrong, so he didn't dare to look at Qin Haodong again. He looked at Lin Momo with a pleading face and said, Boss Lin, we have worked hard for the Lin family for so many years. Please give us another chance. Lin Momo said with a cold face, because of this, I have taken good care of you. Otherwise, do you think anyone will hire you in the future if I report what you have done to the Bodyguard Association? Zhang Dixing was in a cold sweat. The upper-class circle in Jiangnan City was not big. If Lin Momo publicized what had happened today, they would lose their jobs completely. No one would hire bodyguards like them who backed down at the last minute. Get out of here before I change my mind. Lin Momo said again. Get out of here. Get out of here. The little fellow also shouted. Seeing that there was no room for reconciliation, Zhang Dixing glanced at Qin Haodong with resentment in his eyes and then left angrily. Qin Haodong didn't care at all. He was just an ant. If it dared to bite him, he would slap it to death. After that, he and Lin Momo took her to play in other amusement parks. The three of them had a good time together like a family of three. The little fellow had a good time. It was not until sunset that she reluctantly left Mickey Children's Park. When they arrived at the parking lot, the three of them got in the car together and sat in the last row. The driver was Uncle Zhang. He was in his 50s and was an elder of the Lin family. He started the car and drove very steadily toward the direction of home. Papa, the amusement park is so fun. When will you take me again? The little fellow said with excitement. Anytime. As long as you like it, I'll bring you here. Qin Haodong was talking to the little fellow, but he had a bad feeling in his heart. He could not help but frown slightly. Lin Momo noticed his abnormality and asked, What's wrong, Haodong? Are you not feeling well? The little fellow rushed to say, Papa is a doctor. Doctors don't get sick. Qin Haodong pinched the little fellow's smooth face and said with a smile, Tang is right. Daddy won't get sick. Indeed, the Azure the Arch longevity art that he had cultivated could make him immune to all kinds of diseases. Mickey Children's Playground was located in the suburbs. On the way back to the Lin family there was a very remote mountain road. After entering this section of the road, the bad feeling in Qin Haodong's heart became stronger and stronger. He pinched his fingers to calculate, and his expression changed greatly. The divination turned out to be very bad. Just then a large truck came from the opposite direction. Uncle Zhang had tried his best to drive the Rolls-Royce to the side of the road, but the large truck crashed into them directly. God d***, how does he drive? Uncle Zhang was shocked. He tried his best to dodge to the side while pressing the horn desperately. However, the driver of the big truck did not seem to hear him. He did not change direction at all. On the contrary, he sped up. Not good. Qin Haodong finally knew where his bad feeling came from. He held the little fellow in his arms, lifted his leg to kick open the door of the Rolls-Royce, grabbed Lin Momo with the other hand and jumped out. As soon as the three of them landed, they heard a loud bang in front of them. The two cars crashed into each other fiercely. Although the Rolls-Royce had good performance and excellent safety, it was still vulnerable compared with the large truck. Moreover, the large truck was extremely fast and there was no sign of the brake. It not only knocked over the Rolls-Royce but also ran over it. This was not a traffic accident at all, but a naked murder. When the large truck stopped, the Rolls-Royce had been firmly pressed under it. The body of the car was almost pressed into a flat plate. It seemed that Uncle Zhang would not survive. The three of them got up from the ground. Lin Momo was completely dumbfounded. She did not understand what had happened. The little fellow was also scared and her little face was pale. She tightly held Lin Momo's neck. Looking at the tragic accident scene, Qin Haodong's heart was rising with anger. If he had not sensed it in advance, he might have been able to rely on his cultivation to survive, but the little fellow and Lin Momo would certainly be killed. But before he could get angry, he saw 7 or 8 men in black jumping from the back of the large truck. These people were all wearing black headgear, only showing 2 eyes. They all held shiny black pistols in their hands and began to shoot at him. He did not expect that they had a series of killing moves. If he was alone, Qin Haodong could rely on his agile body movement to quickly dodge, but he could not at this time. Standing behind him were Lin Momo and the little fellow, who were 2 people more important than his life. At this critical moment, Qin Haodong had no time to think carefully. He turned around and jumped, throwing Lin Momo and the little fellow to the ground. Then he took them to hide behind a big stone. Although it took him only a few seconds to do this, his body was shaken one after another. His left shoulder, right chest and leg were shot. "Damn it, my cultivation is too low," Qin Haodong cursed secretly. If he had the cultivation of his previous life, he would not care about these bullets at all. But it was not the time to complain. The top priority was to kill these people in front of him. He knew that it was very difficult for him to protect Lin Momo and the little fellow with his current cultivation, let alone kill these people. It seemed that he had to find help. He took out his mobile phone from his pocket and quickly dialed Nalan Wuxia's number. Nalan Wuxia happened to be on duty today. Seeing Qin Haodong's phone number, she immediately pressed the answer button. When she was about to speak, she heard Qin Haodong's low voice over the phone, "I'm being chased. Hurry up and come to help." Nalan Wuxia knew Qin Haodong liked to joke, so she did not believe him at all. She said with a smile, "Come on. Who would chase after a little doctor like you? Today is not April Fool's Day. You can't fool me." Qin Haodong did not expect that she would have such a reaction. He held back his urge to swear and said quickly, "Are you big breasts and no brains? I don't have time to joke with you. Hurry up and come or you will have to collect my dead body." Seeing Qin Haodong was serious, Nalan Wuxia's expression changed. "Are you sure you're not joking? I've been shot 3 times. Do you think I can joke? I guess it's sad dogs people who want to take revenge on me." In fact, Qin Haodong did not know the background of these people at all. According to his guess, they probably came for Lin Momo. But at this time, in order to make Nalan Wuxia believe him, he had to put the blame on Sad Dog. As expected, as soon as he said that, Nalan Wuxia immediately jumped up and said quickly, "Tell me your location." "On the way back to Jiangnan City from Mickey Children's Paradise. You will see a traffic accident scene when you come here. You're trapped here. Hold on, I'll be there in 10 minutes. After saying that, Nalan Wuxia quickly hung up the phone. At this time, Lin Momo also realized that she had encountered an assassination. Because the stone was not very big, she hugged the little fellow tightly and squeezed with Qin Haodong, her cheek close to his back. After calming down, Lin Momo felt that her face was wet and sticky. She reached out her hand and touched it. It was all blood. "Are you hurt?" she exclaimed. "I'm fine. Just a little wound." After asking for help, Qin Haodong finally felt a little relieved. He put the phone in his pocket and began to stop the bleeding by pressing his acupoints. Lin Momo's nose turned sour and tears flowed down. She knew that Qin Haodong was hurt to protect them. "Papa, I'm scared." Although the little fellow did not know what had happened, she felt fear instinctively. "Tang Tang, don't be afraid. Didn't I say that as long as Papa is here, you don't have to be afraid?" After saying that, Qin Haodong reached out his hand to cover the little fellow's mouth, because he had sensed the footsteps. It seemed that those men in black did not give up and had begun to surround them. "Don't make a sound. They are coming." After saying that, Qin Haodong handed her to Lin Momo and took out the needle bag from his pocket. Then he calmed down and judged how far they were from the men in black according to their footsteps. With his current cultivation, the effective distance of the silver needles was within 20 meters. If it was too far, it would not be accurate. It was not as far as the shooting range of the pistol. He had to wait for those men to come close before he could take action. Those men in black did not seem to take Qin Haodong seriously at all. The 2 men walking in the front soon came to the big stone. Because they were holding pistols, Qin Haodong did not dare to show his head at all. Based on his own hearing, he raised his hand and shot out a dozen silver needles. In the case that he could not see the enemy, his silver needles would definitely lose their accuracy. But as long as one of the dozen silver needles hit the target, he could kill the enemy. Sure enough, after his silver needles were shot out, the 2 black-clothed men didn't even have the chance to scream before they fell to the ground with a plop. The men in black behind did not know what had happened in front of them. After shooting a few shots in succession, they quickly retreated and hid beside the truck. Seeing these people retreating, Qin Haodong was finally relieved. But a stone alone could not stop those men in black. When those men came to their senses and surrounded him from all sides, the stone would lose its concealment function. At that time he would not be able to resist the intensive shooting at all. He looked around and found an abandoned mud hut not far away. Although it was not big, it could completely resist the attack of bullets. Qin Haodong held the little fellow in his arms again and said to Lin Momo, "I will count to 3. Let's rush to the small mud hut together. We must be fast." Chapter 37. 3, 2, 1. After Qin Haodong shouted, he immediately took Lin Momo and ran all the way forward. Because of the fast speed, Lin Momo wanted to run by herself at first. Later she was directly pulled up by Qin Haodong. She felt that her feet had left the ground and they were moving forward quickly. When they ran halfway, the men in black came to their senses and immediately began to shoot. However, the unprepared bullets were not accurate. In the blink of an eye, Qin Haodong had arrived in front of the small dark house. He lifted his foot and kicked the dilapidated wooden door away. Then the 3 of them directly rushed in. After entering the house, he immediately took Lin Momo and hid behind a wall. The bullets behind them hit the wall and splashed mud everywhere, but no one was hurt. It was a very shabby little house. It seemed that it was the place where the mountain guards used to live, but now it was deserted. Hiding here, they no longer had to worry about being besieged by the black-clothed gunmen. Finally, they were safer. However, this burst of running hurt Qin Haodong's wound again, and the blood kept flowing out. "Are you okay?" Lin Momo was nervous. "I'm fine. Don't be afraid." Then Qin Haodong hit the acupoints again to stop the bleeding. At this time all the black-clothed men had gathered and surrounded the small house. However, they knew that Qin Haodong had a deadly weapon in his hand, so they did not dare to get too close. They surrounded the house from a distance, and some of them hid behind trees. A black-clothed man with a duck's voice shouted, "Friend, we don't want to embarrass you. As long as you hand over the woman, we will leave immediately." The order they received today was to kill Lin Momo, so they did not want to fight with Qin Haodong to the end. After hearing this, Qin Haodong confirmed his guess. These people were really coming for Lin Momo. It was very likely that they were in the same group as the assassins who had killed Lin Momo last time. Fortunately, Lin Momo had met Qin Haodong twice, otherwise she would have been dead. Lin Momo was silent for a moment and said, "They are coming for me. How about you take care of Tang Tang and hand me over?" "What nonsense are you talking about?" Qin Haodong's voice was not loud, but it was very harsh. "I said that as long as I am here, no one can hurt you and your daughter. But they all have guns and you are injured. It's not a solution to delay like this. In the end all 3 of us will die. It's better to sacrifice me." "You shut up. I've already said that as long as I'm alive, no one can hurt you." Qin Haodong's tone was harsh and even a little rough, but Lin Momo felt warm in her heart and tears flowed down again. "Don't be afraid. I've just called the police. As long as we delay for a while, the police will come." Qin Haodong comforted her. At this moment, the duck voice outside called out again, "Friend, did you hear that? Don't think that you can fight against us just because you have some skills. No matter how strong you are, can you be stronger than a gun?" Qin Haodong patted Lin Momo on the shoulder and shouted to the outside, "Well, I agree to your request. Come and pick her up." "Papa, you can't give Mama to them," the little girl cried. "Shh. Tang Tang, don't talk. Dad lied to them." Lin Momo obviously understood Qin's intention. "But the teacher said that good children shouldn't lie. It's possible to fool the bad guys. Tang Tang, stop talking." Lin Momo stopped the little fellow who was about to speak. Qin Haodong really wanted to trick 2 more men in black to come over and shoot them directly. He calculated that there were still 6 gunmen in black outside. Killing one would reduce the danger. However, the duck voice obviously saw his intention and shouted again, "We want the dead, not the living. As long as you push the woman out, we will kill her." Seeing that the men in black were not fooled, Qin Haodong sighed and could only wait for Nalan Wuxia to come. The duck voice obviously knew that Qin Haodong was stalling and shouted again, "Don't think that I can't do anything if you hide inside. I'll give you one last minute. If you don't hand over the woman, I'll let you die together." Qin Haodong naturally ignored this threat. As long as the men in black dared to come close, he could shoot them with silver needles. But a minute later, there was a violent roar of a motor outside. "Damn it!" Qin Haodong's expression changed greatly. He understood what the duck voice was relying on. This guy wanted to hit the small mud hut with a big truck. This small mud hut was in disrepair for a long time. It could barely resist bullets, but it could not withstand a big truck at all. Sure enough, the roar of the motor was getting closer and closer. The big truck had driven to the small mud hut. Lin Momo also understood. She put the little fellow in Qin Haodong's arms and then rushed out of the hut. Come back. Qin Haodong grabbed Lin Momo and pressed her against the wall. Take care of Tang Tang. Let men do this kind of thing. No, they all have guns. They must be waiting for you to go out. Lin Momo said anxiously. Don't worry, I'm lucky. I won't die. Qin Haodong said and put the little fellow back in Lin Momo's arms. Then he kissed them on the cheek and said, If I die, you must take good care of our daughter. Lin Momo was stunned. She did not understand why Qin Haodong was willing to make such a big sacrifice for her and Tang Tang. Before she came to her senses, Qin Haodong kicked the wall of the small mud hut hard. With the rebound force, his body shot out of the small window like a cannonball. The men in black outside were obviously prepared. They shot as soon as Qin Haodong appeared. However, Qin Haodong was so fast that all their bullets missed. On the contrary, Qin Haodong seized the opportunity and killed 3 men in succession. As for the remaining 3 men in black, one was in the big truck, and the other 2 were far away out of the shooting range of the silver needles. At this time, the big truck rumbled over and quickly rushed to the small mud hut. Qin Haodong was very clear that if the small mud hut was hit by the big truck, it would collapse. Lin Momo and the little fellow would have no chance to survive. The situation was critical. He could not care less. He jumped into the air and rushed to the big truck. He smashed the windshield of the big truck with one punch. Under the frightened eyes of the man in black, he grabbed his neck and threw him out of the car. Although the man in black was killed, the big truck did not slow down and still rushed to the small mud hut. Qin Haodong jumped quickly and sat in the driver's seat. He changed the direction of the big truck and rushed to the 2 men in black next to him. However, because he was too fast just now, the men in black couldn't hit him. But now he became a fixed target in the big truck. The remaining 2 men in black raised their guns and shot at him fiercely. Qin Haodong had no way to dodge. He could only grit his teeth and run his genuine chi to resist. His body was shot again and again. Soon, the bullets in the hands of the men in black ran out. Qin Haodong did not give them a chance to change the clip and drove the big truck to rush to them. The 2 men in black turned around and ran in panic, but how could they outrun the truck? Very soon, they let out heart-wrenching screams under the wheels of the truck. At this time, a siren sounded in the distance. 2 police cars came quickly. Knowing that Nalan Wuxia finally came, Qin Haodong was relieved and fell unconscious on the seat. When he regained consciousness again, he was already lying in the hospital ward. The rising sun dyed everything in the ward golden yellow. Sitting at the head of the bed, Lin Momo looked sad. From the deep tiredness on her face, it could be seen that she did not sleep this night. Seeing that Qin Haodong finally opened his eyes, she said excitedly, You're awake. You're finally awake. You scared me to death. Qin Haodong smiled slightly and said, I told you I'm lucky. You're still smiling. Lin Momo glared at him and said, You scared me to death yesterday. Do you know? The doctor took out 13 bullets from your body. So many. Did they hurt my face? I have to rely on my face in the future. Qin Haodong said and raised his hand to touch his cheek. You're still so glib at this time. But the doctor said you're really lucky. These bullets avoided the vital parts and didn't hurt the internal organs. Otherwise it would be really troublesome. Qin Haodong thought to himself that it was not lucky at all. First, the gun was not powerful. After penetrating his genuine chi, it did not have much lethality. Second, he had a strong sense of spirit. Before being shot, he had avoided the vital parts. Otherwise, he would be a dead body now. Where's Tang Tang? Did you scare her? Qin Haodong asked. Tang Tang is fine. I've sent her home. Seeing that Qin Haodong cared about her daughter as soon as he woke up, Lin Momo was moved. She couldn't stop her tears from flowing. She said emotionally, Why are you so stupid? Is it worth working so hard? Of course it's worth it. I've said that as long as I'm here, no one can hurt you and Tang Tang. Qin Haodong raised his hand to wipe away the tears on Lin Momo's face. Lin Momo grabbed his hand and sobbed, Haodong, thank you. How can I thank you? It's not good to say it verbally. How about you marry me? You're not being serious again? Thinking of Qin Haodong's kiss last night, Lin Momo couldn't help but blush. She quickly turned her eyes aside. How is it not serious? I'm talking about the most serious thing. Qin Haodong said seriously, Momo, let me be Tang Tang's father. Aren't you already Tang Tang's godfather now? Lin Momo was a little nervous and didn't dare to look at Qin Haodong's hot eyes. You know that's not what I mean. Be my girlfriend and I'll treat you and Tang Tang well. No. No way. Lin Momo didn't expect that Qin Haodong would make such a request. She was so nervous that she didn't know what to do. Why not? Are you afraid that I'll treat Tang Tang badly? No. No, I know you'll be good to Tang Tang. Lin Momo could see that Qin Haodong really treated Tang Tang better than his own daughter. Then why? Do you dislike me because I'm poor? No. It's really not. Lin Momo looked uneasy at this time. She didn't look like a domineering female president at all. Biting her sexy red lips, she whispered, I'm much older than you, and I'm a woman who has given birth to a child. It's me who doesn't deserve you. Qin Haodong was slightly stunned. It turned out that Lin Momo had an inferiority complex in front of him. He knew very well that his wife and daughter were related, but this kind of thing couldn't be said to anyone. Moreover, speaking of age, he was an old monster who had lived for more than 500 years. How could he dislike Lin Momo, who was in her 20s? Momo, age is not a problem and you're only 5 years older than me. 5 years old is not young. Before Lin Momo could finish, she was suddenly kissed by Qin Haodong, and she couldn't say the rest of the words. After a short dizziness, she quickly pushed Qin Haodong away and said reproachfully, Don't move. Your injury hasn't healed yet. Chapter 38. Lin Momo blushed and said, You're talking nonsense again. That's just a legend. I don't care. Anyway, it's not a big deal to be 5 years older. I like it. Besides, it's not just your age that's older. After Qin Haodong said that, his eyes glanced at Lin Momo's breasts and he couldn't help but swallow a mouthful of saliva. At this moment, Lin Momo's pretense of coldness had completely collapsed. She shouted shyly like a little girl in love for the first time, Don't look. Well, I won't look. However, Qin Haodong was also a person who had been through a lot. How could he miss the great opportunity in front of him? He reached out and held Lin Momo in his arms. Lin Momo was so shy that she wanted to struggle, but she was afraid to touch Qin Haodong's wound. Well, I'll do what I said. If you don't let me look, I won't look. But you can do it. Now let me go. Lin Momo's refusal was not only ineffective, but also attracted a second kiss from Qin Haodong. In the beginning, she only pushed him a few times symbolically, but then she slowly lost herself. Dong, dong, dong. Just when Qin Haodong was overjoyed, there was a clear knock on the door. Lin Momo's body suddenly woke up as if she had been electrocuted. She quickly pushed Qin Haodong away and retreated to the side. Qin Haodong wiped his mouth and looked at the door with dissatisfaction. He didn't know which annoying guy had disturbed his good time. Was it easy for him to make the child's mother fall in love with him? At the door of the ward, Nalan Wuxia was standing there, looking at Qin Haodong and Lin Momo with a strange expression. Officer Nalan, you're here. Nalan Wuxia had saved Qin Haodong last night. Lin Momo naturally knew this policewoman, but it was the first time that she had been caught doing such a thing. Her cheeks were so red that it seemed to be dripping blood. Officer Nalan, you talk. I'll go out to prepare breakfast. After that, she lowered her head and ran out of the ward like she was escaping. Qin Haodong looked at the clock on the wall. It was just 7 o'clock in the morning. He looked up and said to Nalan Wuxia, Officer Nalan, you're so dedicated. You came so early. I'm not as dedicated as you. You've been shot more than 10 times, yet you still have so many tricks up your sleeve. Don't you know that lust is like a knife above your head? Qin Haodong looked at the white bandages wrapped all over his body. It did not match the atmosphere just now, but he did not care. The evergreenwood skill was the best method for healing injuries. After a night's rest, his injuries had almost recovered. They were not as serious as they looked. Nalan Wuxia pulled a chair and sat in front of Qin Haodong. Do you blame me for disturbing your good time? Qin Haodong said with a smile, You know it yourself. Do you still need to ask me? Can't you come a little later? Great miracle doctor, do you have any ulterior motives for playing the hero and saving the damsel in distress last night? Qin Haodong said with a smile, Officer Nalan really has sharp eyes. You can even see that. Nalan Wuxia glared at him fiercely. As far as I know, Iceberg President Lin Momo is not married, but she has a daughter. Aren't you afraid that the child's father will suddenly jump out to settle accounts with you? What's there to be afraid of? I'll be a romantic ghost even if I die under a peony. Qin Haodong was amused. He was the child's father, otherwise he would not have worked so hard. You. Nalan Wuxia was really angry with Qin Haodong. She bit her lip and said, I really don't understand what you're thinking. With your medical skills and appearance, you can totally find a woman who suits you. It's not impossible to find a rich girl. Why do you have to do this? Qin Haodong laughed in his heart. It seemed that this girl misunderstood that he wanted to live off a woman. Oh. I just remembered that Officer Naylan is a real fair, rich and beautiful woman. Do you want to keep me? Tell me the price. If it's right, I'll consider it. Bah. I don't want to talk to you. Naylan Wuxia spat at him and said, it's just that as a friend, I don't want to see you like this. Qin Haodong naturally could not explain it. He said with a smile, in fact, you misunderstood me. You don't understand my mind. What don't you understand? You must have a mother complex. You're a pervert. Oh. Qin Haodong was speechless. He and Lin Momo seemed to be a good match. How could there be such a big gap between them? What do you think? Did I hit the nail on the head? I've studied psychology. Naylan Wuxia showed a trace of complacency at the corner of her mouth. Right your head. Qin Haodong stared at Naylan Wuxia and said, I'm not as hardcore as you said. I only have one hobby, which is beautiful women. I also like girls like you. He stared at Naylan Wuxia's curvy body and wiped the saliva at the corner of his mouth. You bastard pervert. Naylan Wuxia felt that if she continued to talk nonsense with this guy, she would be so angry that she would have irregular menstruation. She said to Qin Haodong seriously, you can like whoever you like. I'm here for serious business. You mean you've investigated what happened last night? Qin Haodong asked. Not completely. But one thing is for sure. These people have nothing to do with you, and they are not Sad Dog's men. They are here for President Lin. After hearing the result of Naylan Wuxia's investigation, Qin Haodong's expression didn't change much. He said lightly, I didn't expect you to be so efficient. What? You already knew this result? Naylan Wuxia stared at Qin Haodong and asked. Of course I knew. I knew they were here for Momo as soon as they attacked. Then why did you tell me they were Sad Dog's men? You made our investigation deviate and wasted a lot of police resources. Do you think it's funny? Naylan Wuxia became angrier and angrier as she said. It seemed that she was going to hit him. It was no wonder that she was angry. After she took over the case, she had been investigating according to Qin Haodong's instructions. She had been busy for almost a whole night and found that there was no movement from the drug dealers. Later she learned that these people were here to assassinate Lin Momo. And Qin Haodong was injured because he saved the beauty. It was not revenge from the drug dealers at all. Officers don't hit patients. Let's talk it out. Don't hit them. Looking at the angry Naylan Wuxia, Qin Haodong kept begging for mercy. It's my fault. But you didn't believe me at that time. That's all I can say. Can you blame me for that? Who asked you to be so glib-tongued and not be serious? I thought you were joking. Naylan Wuxia said angrily. But looking at Qin Haodong's bandaged body, she finally held back her anger and sat down. That's because you don't know me well enough. I'm handsome and humorous, but I never joke about serious business. Oh, feel good about yourself. Naylan Wuxia rolled her eyes at Qin Haodong fiercely. How's the investigation going? Do you know who did it? Speaking of this, Qin Haodong looked serious and a sharp light flashed in his eyes. The culprit behind the scenes tried to kill Lin Momo again and again, which made him want to kill her. As long as he could find out the identity of the culprit, no matter who it was, he would eradicate this trouble. There are no clues yet. All the gunmen in black at the scene are dead. I can't get anything out of them. Naylan Wuxia stared at Qin Haodong and said, you were so heavy-handed at that time. Didn't you know how to leave someone alive? Qin Haodong said embarrassedly, you can't blame me. No one dared to show mercy in that situation. Last night he did not show mercy. Those people had guns in their hands. They could pose a death threat to him and Lin Momo at any time. Well, I'm not blaming you. I've told you the situation of the case. Take care of yourself. I'm leaving. Naylan Wuxia said and turned to walk out of the ward. In fact, her main purpose was to visit Qin Haodong's injury and to talk about the case. She had achieved her purpose, so she had to go back to work. Take care, Officer Naylan. Next time remember to knock on the door. If you see something not suitable for children, you'll have to pay. Naylan Wuxia tripped and almost broke her high heels. She looked back and glared at Qin Haodong. Then she left without looking back. As soon as she left, Lin Momo came in with breakfast. The blush on her cheeks had not completely faded, which made her look particularly attractive. Get up and eat, she said to Qin Haodong, who was lying on the bed. I'm injured. I can't get up. Why can't you get up? Didn't you get up just now? Thinking of the scene of Qin Haodong kissing her, Lin Momo's cheeks instantly turned red again. Because I pulled my wound just now, I can't get up now. What do you want? Lin Momo said, biting her red lips. I want you to feed me. Qin Haodong said like a rascal. You, Lin Momo wanted to refuse, but when she thought of the scene where Qin Haodong was covered in blood to protect them, her heart softened. She picked up a bowl of pork and century egg porridge and fed it to Qin Haodong spoonful by spoonful. Qin Haodong enjoyed the beauty service while admiring the woman's beautiful face. Lin Momo was embarrassed by his gaze. She gave him a charming look and said, "What are you looking at? Are there flowers on my face?" "Flowers are not as beautiful as you," Qin Haodong said with a smile. "You have a glib tongue?" Lin Momo grabbed a steamed bun and stuffed it into Qin Haodong's mouth. She was very happy. Half an hour later, the sweet breakfast was finally finished. Lin Momo said, "You stay here and take care of yourself. I'm going to work." "Can't you stay here with me? Look how lonely I am." Qin Haodong began to act pitiful. "No, I still have a lot of things to deal with in the company." Lin Momo glanced at Qin Haodong and said, "You just came to our house a few days ago, and the captain of the security team was fired. Now all the bodyguards have been driven away. Shouldn't I go back to clean up the mess?" Qin Haodong suddenly thought of this and said, "Are you safe without bodyguards? How about I go to work with you? Come on, if you go with me, will you protect me or I will take care of you?" Lin Momo said, "My father gave half of his bodyguards to me. Besides, this is the center of the city, so safety is no problem." "Then be careful. Take care of yourself. I'm leaving." After saying that, Lin Momo walked out of the ward and turned back to close the door. After eating and drinking, Qin Haodong began to run the longevity green with skill to repair his internal injuries. The bullets in his body had been taken out. After running the green with genuine qi 3 times, his injuries had recovered. Chapter 39. In the sanatorium of the Jiangnan military region, an old man in a suit of exercise was doing morning exercises in the open space among the trees. His punching skills were so vigorous that no one could tell that he was over 70 years old. After the fight, Nailan Jie made a gesture, took the herbal tea from Nailan Wushuang and drank it up. "Grandpa, your body is recovering really well," Nailan Wushuang said. "Thanks to the little magic doctor's medical skills, I'm not only all better now, but also seem to be 20 years younger." "Well, the big liar's medical skills are good." Nailan Wushuang nodded. After Qin Haodong's treatment, her body was much better than before. Not only did her period become very normal, but her body was also warm, no longer as cold as before. As the grandfather and grandson were talking, a guard came over with a cripple. The lame man looked about 30 years old. He was very strong, but his right leg had completely lost the ability to walk, even slightly deformed. He relied on a wooden stick in his hand as a crutch and limped to Nailan Jie. "Why are you here?" "Grandpa Saber is dying," the lame man said with a sad face. Nailan Jie's expression changed greatly. "How could this be? Wasn't he fine a few days ago? His condition suddenly worsened last night and now he is in a coma. If you don't hurry up, you may not see him for the last time." "Then let's hurry up," Nailan Jie said, shoving the teacup in his hand to Nailan Wushuang and hurried outside. "Grandpa, where are you going?" Nailan Wushuang cried. "Of course, to see Saber for the last time." "Grandpa, how could you forget that now is different from before? Dr. Qin may be able to save Saber's life." "Yes, how could I forget the little magic doctor?" Nailan Jie said to her, "Maybe this is Saber's fate. Hurry up and contact the little magic doctor, let him come anyway." "I'll call him now." Nailan Wushuang immediately took out her mobile phone and dialed Qin Haodong's number. As soon as Qin Haodong picked up the phone, he heard Nailan Wushuang say eagerly, "There's a patient who needs your help." Feeling Nailan Wushuang's eagerness, Qin Haodong said, "Come and pick me up. I'm at Jiangnan Hospital. Wait for me at the door. I'll be there in 10 minutes. Nailan Wushuang hung up the phone. Qin Haodong tore off all the gauze wrapped around his body, put on the clothes prepared by Lin Momo and left the ward. As soon as he arrived at the entrance of the hospital, a red Maserati sports car drove over. "Get in the car," Nailan Wushuang cried eagerly. Qin Haodong opened the door of the passenger seat and sat down. Nailan Wushuang slammed on the accelerator, and the Maserati rushed forward like an arrow leaving the bow. "Why are you in the hospital? Are you seeing patients?" Nailan Wushuang asked. "This time, I'm not the one treating the patient. Someone else is treating me." Qin Haodong briefly told her about his injury last night. Nailan Wushuang said in surprise, "You seem to be fine with such a serious injury?" Qin Haodong said with a smile, "I'm a doctor myself. Of course I can recover faster." I don't know where you learned your medical skills. It's amazing. Nalan Wushuang drove faster and faster. Her driving skills were really good. She was able to reach a speed of 80 miles per hour in the urban area. Good driving. Qin Haodong said. Of course, I'm the driving goddess of Jiangnan. Nalan Wushuang said with a smug smile. Really? What do you think? Nalan Wushuang seemed to want to prove herself with reality. She drove faster and faster. After leaving the urban area, the speed increased to 200 miles per hour in the blink of an eye. Why are you in such a hurry? Who are you treating? Qin Haodong asked. Have you heard of the divine mercenaries? Nalan Wushuang said while driving. No. Qin Haodong shook his head. He was just a senior student. How could he know anything about mercenaries? Nalan Wushuang said, the divine mercenaries used to be one of the most powerful mercenary groups in the world, ranking third in the world. In fact, they definitely have the strength to win the first place, but in order to keep a low profile, they have never fully shown their strength. Qin Haodong listened quietly. He knew that Nalan Wushuang was not telling him about the mercenary group. Sure enough, Nalan Wushuang continued, today, you need to treat the divine mercenaries. Qin Haodong asked, how could such a powerful mercenary group be injured? It seems that more than one person was injured. Nalan Wushuang said, today I'm telling you these things, you must keep it a secret. In fact, the divine mercenaries are different from other mercenary groups. They are backed by Wuxia. What do you mean? Qin Haodong asked. In recent years, the underground competition in various countries has become more and more fierce, and Wuxia is no exception. But there are many things that are not convenient for the government to deal with, so the divine mercenaries came into being. After the establishment of the divine mercenaries, in addition to taking some small tasks to deceive people, they have done special tasks assigned by the state. In these years, they have made great contributions to Wuxia by risking their lives. Speaking of this, Nalan Wushuang changed the topic, but a year ago the background of the divine mercenaries was suddenly leaked, and their secret was known by the hostile forces of Wuxia. But the divine mercenaries didn't know it. They took a less difficult task as usual, but it was a trap set by the Neon people. 2 of the original 8 members were directly killed on the spot, and the other 6 were also injured to different degrees. Although they didn't die, they became disabled. The most tragic thing is that because of their special identity, it was not convenient for the Wuxia government to help them after they were injured. Finally, my grandfather retired from the military and took them in from the private point of view of the Nalan family. But even so, it could only be done in private. My grandfather built a house behind the sanatorium, and the remaining 6 members of the divine mercenaries have been recovering here for the past year. The leader of the mercenary group, Saber, was the most seriously injured. He has been bedridden for a year. Last night, his condition suddenly worsened and now he is in danger. Qin Haodong was moved. What the divine mercenaries had done was unknown, but they were the heroes of Wuxia. Nalan Jia was willing to step down from a high position for the divine mercenaries, which was really admirable. Don't worry, as long as they are still breathing I can cure them. Nalan Wushuang said, I thank you on behalf of the divine mercenaries. 20 minutes later, the Maserati bypassed the military sanatorium and came to a small valley behind it. On one side of the hillside there was a large tile-roofed house, and Nalan Jia's military A6 car was parked there. They got out of the car and Qin Haodong followed Nalan Wushuang to push the door and go in. After entering the house, Qin Haodong saw Nalan Jia standing in the house. Next to him stood a lame man with a wooden stick in his hand. Opposite them were 5 listless men. 2 of them were sitting in wheelchairs and 3 of them were bedridden. These people looked sick, but they had a strong murderous look. It could be seen that they had walked through mountains of corpses and seas of blood. In the middle of the bed, a thin man was lying, with his eyes closed and his face pale. He should be the boss of the divine mercenaries, Saber, whom Nalan Wushuang had mentioned. Qin Haodong could feel that Saber's breath of life was rapidly disappearing. If he didn't get treatment soon he might not live long. After seeing Qin Haodong coming in, the lame man looked at him vigilantly, like a hungry wolf staring at its prey. When Nalan Jia saw Qin Haodong, his face was full of joy. He hurried over and said, Little magic doctor, Saber is the hero of our Wuxia. You must find a way to save him. I know. Qin Haodong said, stepped to the bed of Saber and reached out to feel his pulse. Seeing that Qin Haodong was the doctor Nalan Jia had mentioned, the lame man's expression relaxed, and then a trace of doubt arose. He couldn't believe that the young man in front of him could cure Saber. But out of trust for Nalan Jia, he did not say anything, just stood aside silently. After a while, Qin Haodong took back his right hand and checked Saber's injury. "Little magic doctor, how is it? Can Saber be saved?" Although Nailan Jia knew that Qin Haodong's medical skills were superb, Saber's illness was too serious. He could barely breathe and he was dying. Qin Haodong stood up and said, "I can save him, but it's a little troublesome." After hearing this, the lame man threw away the stick in his hand and knelt down in front of Qin Haodong. He said excitedly, "As long as you can save Saber, the lives of the 6 brothers of the divine mercenaries are yours." Qin Haodong pulled the lame man up from the ground and said, "I'm here today out of respect for you. It has nothing to do with anything else." After that, he took out the needle belt from his pocket and began to treat the wound. Saber's injury was very complicated. Not only were his internal organs and meridians damaged to varying degrees, but there was also an unknown toxin in his body. The most terrible thing was that there was a sword chi hidden in his dantian. It could be seen that the person who used the sword was very skillful. He could have killed Saber directly, but he did not do so. Instead, he wanted to torture Saber to death slowly through this cruel means. Saber was also a warrior, but he was suppressed by such a sword chi. He could not lift genuine chi in his dantian at all, so he could not repair his injury. He could only wait for death day by day. What a vicious method. Qin Haodong cursed, and then quickly pierced the silver needle into Saber's dantian. This time he used the needle in a very special way. He pierced the circle with the dantian as the center, and then began to use greenwood genuine chi to slowly force the sword chi onto the silver needle. 5 minutes later, the silver needles began to tremble slowly, and then they shot out. After hitting the roof, they exploded into powder with a bang. What an overbearing sword chi. Qin Haodong was secretly shocked. These silver needles were completely blown up by the sword chi. The cultivation of the person who used the sword was so high that even if he met him now, he could only hide as far as possible. Chapter 40. After the sword chi was cleared, Qin Haodong began the second step, which was to detoxify the long saber. He asked the lame man to bring a basin and a dagger and put them at the head of the bed. He raised his hand to withdraw the remaining silver needles in the dantian of the long saber and took out a chi-nourishing pill for him to eat. The toxicity of the poison in the long saber was not strong. It was chronic poison. But the biggest problem was that the poison had been in his body for a year and had penetrated deep into his bone marrow. It was extremely difficult to get rid of it by external force. The best way was to mobilize the genuine chi in the body of the long saber and expel the poison through his genuine chi. But now the dantian of the long saber had been dry for a long time, like a dry well. If he wanted to restore the genuine chi, he had to rely on the efficacy of the chi-nourishing pill. After taking the pill, Qin Haodong injected a wisp of greenwood genuine chi into the dantian of the long saber to help him restore the lost genuine chi. Under the guidance of the greenwood genuine chi, the efficacy of the chi-nourishing pill began to work slowly. Wisps of smoke like genuine chi rose up and finally slowly turned into water drops, condensed into a small river and flowed in the dantian. As the genuine chi became thicker, Qin Haodong began to help the long saber drive the genuine chi to remove the poison in the body and slowly forced it to his feet. Nailan Jia and others watched quietly. They were surprised to find that the feet of the long saber were getting darker and darker, and finally turned as black as ink. Qin Haodong had been controlling the process of detoxification. Seeing that it was almost time, he suddenly grabbed the dagger at the head of the bed and made 2 bloody cuts on the feet of the long saber. As he raised the dagger in his hand, 2 puffs of black blood splashed into the basin at the head of the bed, and a foul smell filled the air. Looking at the face of the long saber, it had recovered a little ruddy, and the black chi that used to pervade his face had disappeared. When the blood flowing from his feet turned red, Qin Haodong began to stop the bleeding. Then he took out the silver needles and used the revival acupuncture method to repair the injured meridians of the long saber. About half an hour later, Qin Haodong took back all the silver needles, raised his hand and patted on the chest of the long saber. "Get up." Something amazing happened. Saber, who was on the verge of death, suddenly sat up on the bed and got out of bed. Nailan Jia and the people of the divine mercenaries all opened their mouths in surprise. They knew very well how serious Saber's injury was. They did not expect that in less than an hour, he was completely cured by this young man. Saber got out of bed and bowed deeply to Qin Haodong. Then he said earnestly, "Magic doctor, please save my brothers. Don't worry. Since I'm here, I'll cure them all." Qin Haodong said, "Who's next?" "Battle Axe, you're up," Saber said to Cripple. Tomahawk didn't say much and came to Qin Haodong with a wooden stick. Little magic doctor, thank you. Qin Haodong glanced at the axe and said, your external injury is serious and it's been a long time. It may be a little painful to treat. Axe chuckled. Little miracle doctor, feel free to treat me. I won't make a sound even if you skin me and pull out my tendons. Qin Haodong also knew that these people were tough men, so he asked the axe to throw away the stick and lie on the bed. There was also a sword chi in the dantian of tomahawk. Compared with saber, he was not poisoned, but his left arm and right leg were broken by a special method, which had been seriously deformed. Qin Haodong grabbed the right leg of tomahawk, exerted force in his hand, and broke the broken bone that had grown together again with a click. Tomahawk was really tough. He just frowned slightly and didn't even make a sound. Qin Haodong reconnected the broken leg bone and repaired the necrotic tissue and meridians with the rejuvenating acupuncture method. After curing the broken leg, he reconnected his left arm with the same method. After curing the external injury, Qin Haodong used silver needles to dissolve the sword chi in his dantian. Well, don't fight with others these days and you'll be back to normal in a week. This kind of magical treatment made the people around greatly amazed. The eyes of the remaining 4 people of the divine mercenaries, which were full of death, glowed again. Originally they had completely lost hope and could only wait quietly for death. They never thought that they could be completely cured. Then Qin Haodong didn't rest, and directly cured the injuries of the remaining 4 people. He said, your injuries are all healed, and the genuine qi has been accumulated in your dantian. In a week you will be back to your previous level. Dr. Qin, from today on, you are the great benefactor of our divine mercenaries. Saber said and knelt in front of Qin Haodong, and the other 5 people also knelt down. At this time they could only use this way to express their inner gratitude. Get up. I saved you today has nothing to do with others. I just respect you as men. As fellow Wuxia people there is no need to be so polite. Qin Haodong waved his hand, and a huge qi helped the 6 people up. A strange look flashed in the eyes of Saber and others. Just now they had already felt that this young man had kung fu, but they didn't expect him to be so strong. Mercenaries like them, who danced on the tip of a knife all day long, had always admired the strong. They looked at Qin Haodong with more respect. Boss, the lives of the 6 of us are saved by you. From today on we will follow you. After Saber finished speaking, the 6 people stood neatly in a row, silently watching Qin Haodong, waiting for his answer. Qin Haodong's heart skipped a beat. Recently, Lin Momo had been assassinated one after another, and the behind-the-scenes manipulator had been hiding in the dark. He was worried that he couldn't find a competent bodyguard. The 6 people in front of him were just right. And it could be seen that although Nailan Jie protected these people, he was also under great pressure. If he took them away he could also help the Nailan family relieve some of the burden. Thinking of this, he turned to Nailan Jie and said, Sir, what do you think? Nailan Jie said, I think Wushuang has told you about them. It would be best if you could take them away. Qin Haodong looked at the 6 people again and said, if you want, follow me from now on. Divine mercenaries, saber, sword, axe, whip, hammer, swear to follow Dr. Qin. The 6 people of the divine mercenaries said in unison. Qin Haodong nodded with satisfaction and said, well, you can call me boss from now on. He was very happy to have such powerful subordinates. It was past noon. Nailan Jie had asked the guards to prepare a table of wine and dishes in the living room. Seeing that the 6 people finally had a good home, he was also very happy. He came forward happily and said, little magic doctor, let's eat and talk. Then he let Qin Haodong sit in the first place. Nailan Wushuang and the 6 people of the divine mercenaries also sat down. After a few glasses of wine, Qin Haodong asked, Mr. Nailan, I see that you are all warriors. I want to ask you, how is the realm of warriors divided now? As a cultivator, he wanted to know the strength of warriors in modern society so as to make a comparison with his own strength and know himself and the enemy. After listening to him, everyone's faces showed surprise. In their opinion, Qin Haodong had the current cultivation at such a young age. His family was absolutely not ordinary. How could he not know the situation of warriors? After a little shock, Saber said, Boss, now warriors are mainly divided into 3 levels: overt power, covert power and supreme power. Each level is divided into 9 levels. What level are your cultivation? Qin Haodong asked again. If the 6 of us fully recover, we are all at the 7th level of overt power. Qin Haodong said, what is covert power? Nailan Jie said, last time with the help of the elixir from the little magic doctor, I was lucky to break through the 9th level of overt power and reach the level of covert power. The difference between covert power and overt power is that it can release genuine qi and hurt the enemy invisibly. What is a supreme power? Nailan Jie said, supreme power is only a legendary figure, and there are only a few of them in Wuxia. Although I have never seen a supreme power, I heard that after a warrior reaches the realm of supreme power, he can use the qi of heaven and earth for his own use. He can raise his hands and feet with infinite power. He can go anywhere in the world. Qin Haodong nodded secretly. He basically had a general understanding of the cultivation of warriors now. Covert power was equivalent to the foundation of cultivators, and the supreme power was comparable to the gold core cultivators in the cultivation world. He said, "Are there many warriors now?" Saber said, "Very few. It's not an exaggeration to say that it's rare. With our cultivation at the 7th level of overt power, we can mix in the mercenary world. It can be seen that warriors are rare." Nailan Jie said, "With the development of the times, many martial arts inheritances have disappeared, and now hot weapons are more and more developed. Decades of hard practice can't hold a bullet, so people's enthusiasm for martial arts is getting lower and lower, and martial artists are naturally fewer and fewer. Although I heard that the supreme power can bear bullets, it's just a legend. No one has seen it." Saber said again, "Even if you can bear bullets, what about planes, cannons and even missiles?" Now the decline of martial arts is directly related to this. Qin Haodong thought for a moment and asked, "I see that the sword qi left in your pubic region is very overbearing. What's going on?" Hearing Qin Haodong's question, a strong hatred flashed on Saber's face. "We fell into the trap of the Japanese. The other side sent priests and ninjas. The one who hurt us was an ultimate ninja. His cultivation should have reached the level of covert power. Because of this, we originally had 8 brothers. Silver Halberd and Big Bao died in the hands of the ninja. Now there are only 6 of us left." "Ninja?" Qin Haodong sneered. He had never liked the Japanese. He said, "Don't worry. Follow me and I will definitely let you get revenge within 3 years. But the opponent's cultivation has reached covert power. It's too difficult to get revenge." While talking, the faces of the 6 people of the divine mercenaries showed a trace of loneliness. After that battle, they saw the terrible power of the covert power warrior, who was not a match for them at the 7th level of overt power. "Don't worry, I'll do what I say." Qin Haodong didn't care about the warrior of covert power at all. In the cultivation world, his servants who swept the floor were already practitioners of Jindan realm, which was equivalent to the supreme power on the earth. How could he care about a little ninja? Chapter 41. The 6 people of the divine mercenaries all looked excited. If others said this, they would never believe it. But Qin Haodong's ability was amazing. Maybe he could create another miracle. Qin Haodong said, "You should hurry to restore your strength. I will make some elixirs to help you improve your cultivation later." "Thank you, boss." The 6 people looked at Qin Haodong with burning eyes. They would not hesitate to pay any price to avenge their dead brothers. Tomahawk chuckled and said, "Boss, what should we do recently? The parts on my body are rusty after a year of staying here. We have to find something to do." Qin Haodong said, "I'm going to set up a security company. You guys help me support it first." Saber patted his chest and said, "Don't worry, boss. We can still do this little thing. Of course I can trust you, but the security company can't only have 6 people. It's a bit worrying to recruit other security guards." Qin Haodong told them about Lin Momo's bodyguards and then said, "It's too difficult to recruit capable and loyal security guards now." Nailan Wushuang said, "I have a way." Nailan Jie looked at Nailan Wushuang and said, "Girl, what can you do? Do you have someone in your hands?" "This method is useless for others, only for Dr. Qin." Nailan Wushuang said, "Grandpa, you forget that there are many special forces soldiers in our military region who retired because of injuries. They were all good and loyal when they were in the army. They had to retire because of injuries. If Dr. Qin can cure their injuries, these people will be grateful and loyal. Moreover, they are the best special forces soldiers in the army. They are very skilled and suitable to be security guards." Qin Haodong's eyes lit up. It would be really good if he could recruit these people as his bodyguards. At this time, Nailan Jie also took a fancy to Qin Haodong. "Dr. Qin, these people are heroes of our country. They retired because of injuries in the mission. Although the country has given them protection these years, they have not lived very well. If you can cure their injuries, it will help them in our country. It is absolutely a great thing." Qin Haodong said, "Old Master Nailan, it's nothing. They shed blood and sweat for our country. I should help them." How about this, gather them here tomorrow. Whether they are willing to join my security company or not, I can treat them for free. Dr. Qin, I thank you on behalf of all the soldiers in Wuxia. Nalan Jie stood up and gave a standard military salute to Qin Haodong. After dinner, Qin Haodong sat in Nalan Wushuang's Maserati again and they drove to the city together. Thank you for helping me come up with such a good idea. Qin Haodong said. Are you going to let it go just like that? If you want to thank me, you have to show some sincerity. Nalan Wushuang said. What kind of sincerity do I need? Devote yourself to me? Qin Haodong looked at the flawless face beside him. In your dreams. She offered herself to you to repay your kindness, but you're biting the hand that feeds you. Nalan Wushuang made a joke and said, well, I have a race tonight. Lend me your Lamborghini. What competition? Qin Haodong asked. Racing, of course. Nalan Wushuang said, I'm the racing goddess of our underground racing circle in Jiangnan. I've never met a rival all these years. But yesterday a guy came and said he wanted to challenge me. I heard that he came back from abroad. In this case, I naturally have to accept the challenge. But just in case, lend me your car. Why do you want to use my car? Isn't your car good? How can it be the same? My car is only 4 million yuan, which is a zero less than yours. Sometimes the difference between masters is just a second. Just in case, I naturally want to use your car. You won't be so stingy, will you? Qin Haodong said, it's just a car. There's nothing to be reluctant about. Take it and use it to win glory for our Jiangnan. Not only the car but also you. You have to go with me. What do you want me to do? Qin Haodong asked in surprise. You men have to put a beautiful woman next to you. Of course I can't be worse. Although you're a little ugly, you can at least deal with it. Hey, don't talk like that. I have to rely on my face to make a living. Qin Haodong said with a smile, well, I'll accompany you for free tonight. What do you mean accompany me? That's so harsh. There are so many men who want to race with me. I don't care. While they were talking, Qin Haodong's phone rang. It was Lin Momo. Haodong, why did you run out of the hospital? Lin Momo asked. My injury has been completely healed. Why do I still live there? Hurry up and ask someone to go through the discharge procedures. Lin Momo also knew Qin Haodong's medical skills, so she didn't dwell on this topic. She said, I have something to deal with here. You go and pick up Tang Tang. Okay, I'll go now. Qin Haodong had no objection to this. Now there were people who attacked Lin Momo one after another. Maybe the little fellow would be involved. He was not at ease to let others pick her up. After hanging up the phone, he said to Nalan Wushuang, let's go to the kindergarten with me to pick up Tang Tang. How old are you? Why do you want to be her godfather? Nalan Wushuang asked. In the past 2 days, she had secretly inquired about the relationship between Qin Haodong and Lin Momo. They had not known each other for a long time, and the little fellow was Qin Haodong's goddaughter, so she was a lot more relaxed. Qin Haodong said with a smile, it's good to be a godfather. You don't have to spend money to support your wife. You can be a father directly. You're so naughty. Nalan Wushuang gave Qin Haodong a charming look. By the way, I need your help. I have 2 little Tibetan Mastiffs at home. When you have time, help me get a dog-raising license. It's convenient to take them out. Qin Haodong knew that it was difficult to get a dog-raising license for a large dog like the Tibetan Mastiff in the urban area, so he asked Nalan Wushuang for help. That's easy. Give me the photos of the dogs later. Nalan Wushuang agreed directly. While talking, they arrived at Gold Branch and Jade Leaf Kindergarten. She got out of the car with Qin Haodong and went to the kindergarten to pick up the little fellow. Papa, I miss you so much. The little fellow jumped out of the classroom and saw Nalan Wushuang standing next to Qin Haodong. She didn't pay attention to Qin Haodong. Instead, she opened her 2 chubby little hands and cried, Auntie, hug me. What a lovely baby. Nalan Wushuang was overjoyed to see the doll-like Tang Tang. She immediately reached out and held her in her arms. Qin Haodong looked helpless. He didn't expect that the little fellow would betray him when they met for the first time. This daughter was really wasted. Auntie, you're so beautiful. As the little fellow said, she wriggled restlessly in Nalan Wushuang's arms, touching here and there, which made Nalan Wushuang a little embarrassed. Soon, the little fellow struggled to run into Qin Haodong's arms and whispered in his ear, Papa, Auntie's skin is very smooth and her waist is thin. There is no sponge or steel wire. Thrill. It's bigger than my mama's. Because the kindergarten was noisy, Nalan Wushuang didn't hear what the little fellow said, but Qin Haodong opened his mouth in surprise. He didn't expect that his daughter went to Nalan Wushuang's place to be a spy for him. In his excitement, he planted a kiss on the little fellow's cheek. This child was really too sensible. Papa, this auntie is good. I'm very satisfied. Can you make her my second mother? Qin Haodong didn't expect that the little fellow would put forward such a creative idea. He was so happy that he couldn't speak for a while. Seeing that her father didn't say anything, the little fellow directly turned to Nalan Wushuang and said, Auntie, can I call you my second mother? Nalan Wushuang blushed and glared at Qin Haodong. Did you teach her? Aren't you afraid that she will be led astray? However, she felt sweet in her heart. It seemed that this guy had no feelings for her. Qin Haodong said, I really didn't teach her. I don't believe you. Nalan Wushuang charmingly rolled her eyes at him. Second mother, Papa really didn't teach her. The little fellow giggled. See, I'm wronged. Qin Haodong said to the little fellow, Tang Tang, who taught you? No one taught me. Wang Xiaoming in our class has 6 stepmothers. I think Papa is better than his Papa. He should have at least 12 stepmothers. Nalan Wushuang finally understood that the parents of this kind of aristocratic kindergarten were all rich people. It was not strange for them to encounter this kind of thing. She didn't expect that the child would even compare this kind of thing. Qin Haodong said, Tang Tang, it's wrong for you to think so. Just when Nalan Wushuang thought that Qin Haodong was going to educate the little fellow, he continued to say, we are modest people. How can you be twice as rich as others? Papa will find you 7 stepmothers, 1 more than him. Nalan Wushuang almost choked to death by her own saliva. How could he educate a child like this? But the little fellow thought about it and nodded solemnly. She said, okay, just 7 days a week, 1 a day. Looking at the little fellow's serious expression, Qin Haodong couldn't help laughing. His daughter was so good. What are you laughing at? Can you be busy with 1 a day? Nalan Wushuang glared at him fiercely. Second mom, what does it have to do with Papa? Just play with me 1 a day. Papa won't be busy. Well, Nalan Wushuang's cheeks suddenly turned red to her ears. She had to admit that she had misunderstood the child's meaning. Qin Haodong laughed again and asked Nalan Wushuang, what do you think 1 a day is for? Nalan Wushuang was even more ashamed. She hurried to the parking lot, and Qin Haodong followed her with the little fellow in his arms. After getting in the car, the little fellow was obviously very happy. She sat in Qin Haodong's arms and kept singing. Tang Tang, what song are you singing? Qin Haodong asked. Nalan Wushuang said while driving, don't you know that? This is Ouyang Shanshan's latest new song, Under the Moonlight. Qin Haodong responded and then asked, who is Ouyang Shanshan? Oh my god, don't you even know Ouyang Shanshan? I really doubt that you came from the moon. Nalan Wushuang looked at Qin Haodong with a strange expression, and then said to the little fellow, tell Papa who Ouyang Shanshan is. She's a big star. Many children in our class like her. I like her too. She's my idol. Nalan Wushuang said, you see, Ouyang Shanshan is the idol of all Wuxia people. She's a world-famous star. Even Tang Tang knows something that you don't know. Chapter 42. Although he knew that Ouyang Shanshan was very famous, he thought that the little fellow should sing more children's songs now. He said, Tang Tang, you are still young. You should sing more children's songs such as Little Duck and Little Neza. No. The little fellow waved her hand and said, those are songs for kindergarten children. I am now in the middle class and I should sing adult songs. Looking at the little fellow's serious expression, Nalan Wushuang couldn't help laughing. You are too nosy. It's the little fellow's freedom to sing whatever songs she wants. Yes. Second mom is good to me. The little fellow echoed. With the little fellow in the car, it was much more lively along the way. The Maserati soon arrived at the door of the Lin's villa. Qin Haodong got out of the car with the little fellow in his arms. Tang Tang waved to Nalan Wushuang and said, goodbye, second mom. Come and play with me in the future. Goodbye, Tang Tang. Nalan Wushuang said and kissed the little fellow on the cheek. Qin Haodong smiled and said, shouldn't everyone have a share? What about me? You wish. Don't forget to pick me up at night. Nalan Wushuang got in the car and waved to the little fellow. Then she drove away. Mama, I'm back. The little fellow ran into the hall and Qin Haodong followed her. In the hall, a young man in his 30s was talking to Lin Momo. He took off his coat and showed off his strong muscles. He pointed to a scar on his chest and said, this is the wound I got when I was protecting an oil prince. There were more than 100 people with all kinds of weapons in their hands, but I killed them all in the end. I was only slightly injured. Brag. Shame on you. The little fellow happened to see this when she entered the room. She stretched out a little finger and scratched her cheek, making a shameless gesture to the man. The young man was staring at the sexy, charming and queenly Lin Momo. His saliva was flying and he was trying hard to win her favor, but he was interrupted, which made him very unhappy. But in the face of such a cute little fellow, he just couldn't say anything and could only glare angrily. Seeing Qin Haodong coming in, Lin Ziyuan quickly stood up and said gratefully, "Dr. Qin, thank you so much for saving Momo and Tang Tang last night." He had learned what had happened. If it weren't for Qin Haodong's desperate protection, his daughter and granddaughter would have been dead. Qin Haodong smiled indifferently, then looked at the man and asked Lin Ziyuan, "Mr. Lin, who is this?" He had keenly felt from the man's eyes that this guy had bad intentions for Lin Momo. "Oh, this is Dongfang Liang, the king of mercenaries in Southeast Asia. He is here to protect Momo." Lin Ziyuan said to the man, "This is Dr. Qin Haodong. He saved my daughter and granddaughter." After what happened last night, Lin Ziyuan was very angry. For the safety of his daughter, he hired Dongfang Liang with a lot of money through various relationships. Dongfang Liang was a very famous and excellent mercenary in Southeast Asia, known as the King of Soldiers. After Lin Ziyuan's introduction, Dongfang Liang smiled disdainfully at Qin Haodong and said, "After all, a doctor's ability is still too poor. If I had been there last night, Miss Lin would never have been threatened, and she would not have been beaten by a few little thieves and stayed in the hospital." Qin Haodong's face darkened. It could be seen that this guy was looking for trouble. Dongfang Liang turned his head and said to Lin Ziyuan, "Mr. Lin, from today on, I will take care of Miss Lin. You can rest assured that I, Dongfang Liang, will be here. Even if the King of Heaven comes, he can't hurt her." Qin Haodong glanced at the arrogant Dongfang Liang and said lightly, "So, you are very powerful? Of course, do you think my title as the King of Soldiers is undeserved? It's earned by real swords and guns." Dongfang Liang began to show off again. "I once fought against a fully armed mercenary group alone, once protected businessmen across the cannibal tribe in Africa, once made the members of the famous Siberian training camp kowtow and apologize. In Southeast Asia, as long as you mention me, Dongfang Liang, there is no one who doesn't give a thumbs up. Bragging, you are so good at bragging, why don't you go to heaven?" The little fellow was unhappy and said in a childish voice, "Papa is the most powerful, 100 times more powerful than you." Dongfang Liang had already known the relationship between Qin Haodong and Lin Momo in advance and said, "Little friend, you don't understand this. A doctor can only be a doctor. How can he compare with my uncle, the King of Soldiers?" The little fellow cried, "Papa is powerful, Papa is powerful, Papa can kick you like a ball." Dongfang Liang's face changed. He was looked down upon by a child, which made him, who had always been proud and arrogant, very uncomfortable. Moreover, he really didn't put Qin Haodong, who had no muscles, in his eyes. After the little fellow finished, he turned his eyes to Qin Haodong and said, "So, Dr. Qin is also a master? I'm not a master, but I'm much better than trash like you." Qin Haodong's tone was very light, but as soon as he said this, the room was immediately full of gunpowder. Dongfang Liang's face sank completely. He wanted to show off his skills again and again, but he didn't expect to be despised by a little doctor. He said with a gloomy face, "In this case, do you dare to fight with me?" At this time he secretly gritted his teeth in his heart. As long as Qin Haodong gave him a chance to fight, he would definitely teach this toy boy a lesson and let Lin Momo see what a real man was. "Forget it, we are all on the same side," Lin Momo said and looked at Qin Haodong worriedly. She was not worried about Qin Haodong's ability, but he had just been injured last night. Although he had run out of the hospital now, she didn't know if he had really fully recovered. In the eyes of Dongfang Liang, all this made him think that Lin Momo was not confident in Qin Haodong's strength, so he suddenly became more confident. "Miss Lin, don't worry, we are just learning from each other. I won't hurt Dr. Qin." In his opinion, as long as Qin Haodong dared to fight, he would only be abused. Qin Haodong said lightly, "Well, since the King of Soldiers is interested, I will play with you. But you can rest assured that my medical skills are also excellent, and I can cure you even if I hurt you." "Good, good. I can watch Papa play football again." The little fellow cried excitedly. Lin Momo held her in her arms and said to Qin Haodong and Dongfang Liang, "We are all on the same side. Don't hurt our friendship." Dongfang Liang moved his wrist and said proudly, "Don't worry, it won't make too much noise. It will only take a few seconds to let him know how powerful I am." This guy felt so good about himself. He was the king of soldiers in Southeast Asia, and by no means a little doctor could challenge him. After that, he raised his fist to Qin Haodong and said, "There is nothing in this world that I can't solve with one punch. If there is, it will be 2 punches." After that he punched Qin Haodong. He was full of confidence that it was enough to make the little doctor who didn't know the immensity of heaven and earth look for his teeth on the ground. However, after the punch, Qin Haodong's figure disappeared in front of him. Before he could figure out what was going on, he suddenly felt as if his butt had been hit by a train. His whole body suddenly rushed out and stuck to the opposite wall like a painting. Then he slowly slid down. Seeing a big human-shaped mark left on the wall, the little fellow jumped up from the ground excitedly, clapped her hands and laughed. "Fun, fun, fun, Papa is the best." Dongfang Liang got up from the ground. Just now his face was stuck to the wall, his nose was almost broken and his face was covered with blood. He didn't believe that he would lose to a little doctor like this. He shouted angrily, "Boy, don't hide if you have the ability." After saying that, he punched Qin Haodong's face again. "Well, I won't hide if you say so." Qin Haodong also punched and the 2 fists slammed together. Dongfang Liang's body flew out again and stuck to the wall again, but this time he was facing outward. "Great, great, Papa is great." The little fellow danced with joy, twisting her body happily in Lin Momo's arms. Rubbing his almost broken wrist, Dongfang Liang finally knew how powerful Qin Haodong was. After all, he was the bodyguard he hired. Lin Ziyuan hurried forward and asked, "Mr. Dongfang, are you all right?" "I'm all right. I'm all right." Dongfang Liang got up from the ground and said embarrassedly, "Mr. Lin, in fact, as a bodyguard, physical strength is secondary. The most important thing is the use of weapons, the grasp of timing and rich experience in fighting against the enemy." He glared at Qin Haodong angrily. Originally he wanted to show off and then let Lin Ziyuan see his value. It would be better if he could win the heart of the beautiful president. Now, all his dreams were shattered by the little doctor in front of him. "Mr. Lin, I'll go back and get ready. I'll pick up Miss Lin to work tomorrow morning." After that he walked to the door in disgrace. The little fellow jumped and shouted behind him, "Big idiot is gone. Big idiot is gone." Dongfang Liang became more and more embarrassed and hurriedly left the Lin's villa. "Mr. Lin, where did you find such a thing?" Qin Haodong said to Lin Ziyuan. "It's introduced by a friend. It's too difficult to find a good bodyguard now. Besides, Dongfang Liang has some skills and is famous in the mercenary world in Southeast Asia." Qin Haodong didn't say more. There was no suitable bodyguard now. Those people in the divine mercenaries would not be on duty until 7 days later. After this competition, Lin Ziyuan saw the value of Qin Haodong more. Not only was he good at medicine, but he could also defeat the soldier king. He said politely, "Dr. Qin, dinner is ready. Let's eat." Qin Haodong followed Lin Ziyuan to the dining room. At this time, he heard the little fellow behind him say, "Mama, Papa found me a second mother today. She's so beautiful." Qin Haodong tripped and seemed to feel Lin Momo's murderous eyes behind him. Unexpectedly, as soon as he stood firm, the little fellow said, "Mama, Papa and second mother are going out on a date tonight." Qin Haodong complained in his heart. "What a fraud, this girl is really a fraud." Chapter 43. Qin Haodong looked back and smiled awkwardly. "Tang Tang has fallen asleep. Shouldn't I be going?" Lin Momo said, "Who said you could go? Don't you want to drive me away at this time every day? Every day is every day and I didn't drive you away today." Qin Haodong's heart skipped a beat and a great sense of joy rose. Could it be that his sincerity had finally touched God, and he could sleep with a beautiful woman at night? It must be like this. It seemed that his confession today had touched the child's mother. He said excitedly, "Well, I won't go today." After that, he stepped to the bedside, but as soon as he raised his leg, he heard Lin Momo say, "I didn't want to drive you away, but you want to go yourself, and the opportunity has been missed." Qin Haodong's expression suddenly became uglier than eating bitter gourd. It seemed that he had been happy for nothing. He sighed and said disappointedly, "Then I'll go back." He turned around again and raised his right leg, but before it fell, he heard Lin Momo say again, "Go, there will be no such opportunity in the future." Qin Haodong was going crazy. It was said that women's minds were hard to guess, but it couldn't change so fast, could it? "Do you want me to go or stay?" He turned back and said, "What are you going to do, Tang Tang's mother?" Lin Momo originally wanted to tease Qin Haodong, but at this time she was softened by the words Tang Tang. She sighed and said, Are you really willing to accept me and Tang Tang? Of course, if I'm lying, I'll be a eunuch in the palace. Qin Haodong said solemnly. Lin Momo glanced at the sleeping little fellow and said faintly, I haven't had a boyfriend for so many years, because I'm afraid that Tang Tang will be wronged with me. I only have 2 requirements for a man. First, he must be really good to us, mother and daughter. Second, he must have the ability to convince me. You've met these 2 requirements. What do you mean? You accept me? Qin Haodong asked incredulously. No matter how many women you have outside, you must always remember to be good to us or I'll kick you out. My God, you're so good to me. Qin Haodong was overwhelmed by a great sense of joy. Happiness came so suddenly. Lin Momo's words meant that she accepted his pursuit, and at the same time, allowed him to take a concubine. It was simply double happiness. He rushed to the bed, hugged Lin Momo and kissed her fiercely. Don't worry, Tang's mother, I'll always be good to you and Tang. Lin Momo pushed Qin Haodong away and said, Go or you will be late. Lin. Haodong. Lin. Before Qin Haodong could finish, Lin Momo interrupted him and said, You don't have to explain to me. I've already said that you just need to remember to be good to us. Qin Haodong kissed Lin Momo again and then went out of the room. At this moment, his mood was as comfortable as eating ice cream in the dog days. Lin Momo was lying on the bed with her eyes wide open and her cheeks flushed. She watched Qin Haodong's back disappear from her sight and murmured, Thank you for taking care of me and Tang Tang. After all, I'm a woman who has given birth to a child. I don't deserve you. This is your compensation. Happiness came too suddenly and too fiercely. Qin Haodong whistled all the way to the appointed place with Nalan Wushuang. At this time he was still smiling. What made you so happy? Nalan Wushuang looked at Qin Haodong, who had been giggling all the time, and asked. It's a date with a beauty, so of course I have to be happy. Qin Haodong sat in the front passenger seat and gave up the driver's seat. Nalan Wushuang sat in the driver's seat and started the car. With a violent roar of the motor, the Lamborghini rushed out, and the speed soared to more than 100 miles in an instant. It's so cool. Lamborghini Centenario lives up to its reputation. It can reach 100 miles per hour in 2.8 seconds. In the night, there was a touch of crazy excitement on Nalan Wushuang's face. Qin Haodong said, Shouldn't girls embroider and cook? Why do you like racing? Why don't you tell me to wrap my feet? Nalan Wushuang glared at Qin Haodong and said, You're talking about women in the old society. Of course I won't do that. I want to have my own life. In the night she drove faster and faster. While driving she said to Qin Haodong, Have you ever raced? I used to be very poor. I didn't have a car at all. How could I race? What's the fastest speed you've ever driven? I used to drive a pickup truck for others when I was working. That kind of car could reach 100 miles per hour with my foot in the gas tank. Nalan Wushuang said, 100 miles per hour? It's too weak. After today, what is speed and what is passion? Racing will make your blood boil all over your body. Qin Haodong didn't care. When he flew on his sword, it was more than 1,000 times faster than this Lamborghini. This speed was really not interesting for him. He asked, Who are you going to compete with tonight? Can you win? What a joke. I'm the racing goddess of Jiangnan City. How could I lose? Nalan Wushuang said confidently, I heard that the opponent came back from abroad, but no matter who he is, he can't be my opponent. Soon they went out of the city and came to Nalan Wushuang's destination, Snake Mountain. This mountain, as its name suggested, was like a coiled snake, and the top of the mountain was the head of the snake. A winding mountain road wound up the mountain and went straight to the top of the mountain. In recent years, a tunnel had been built under the mountain, and this winding mountain road had been idle. Every midnight, it became a holy place for underground racers. Hundreds of people and dozens of cars had gathered at the top of Snake Mountain. These people were all fans of underground racing. Many of them were rich children who had nothing to do and came here to pursue excitement. At this time these people were talking around a red sports car. This was a brand new Porsche 911. Next to the car stood a young man with a proud face. It was Dongfeng Liang, the soldier king of Southeast Asia, who had just been taught a lesson by Qin Haodong. Next to him was a sexy woman in a very coquettish dress, and behind her were 7 or 8 mercenaries brought from Southeast Asia. Brother, your car is so handsome. Does it cost more than 1 million? Shanpao, do you know anything about cars? This is the top of Porsche 911, more than 3.8 million. Damn, it's so expensive. When can I have such a car? You can only look, don't touch. Don't touch my brother's car. A man behind him shouted to the people watching. Looking at all this, Dongfang Liang looked more proud and enjoyed the envious and hateful eyes of people. This was the feeling of the return of the Soldier King he had been pursuing for a long time. But at this moment a sports car like a black lightning drove to the top of Snake Mountain at top speed, drew a beautiful arc and stopped. Oh my god, I'm not mistaken. This is Lamborghini Centenario? Really, I didn't expect that there was such a magic car in Jiangnan City. Is this car good? Is it better than Porsche 911? You're such a fool. Lamborghini Centenario costs more than 40 million. Porsche 911 is trash compared with it. As they spoke, these people rushed over, leaving only Dongfang Liang and his men here. Dongfang Liang's face became ugly in an instant. He thought that his Porsche 911 was enough to crush other cars, but he didn't expect to be defeated in an instant. He just wanted to show off. Why was it so difficult? Nalan Wushuang opened the door and got out of the car. The crowd suddenly boiled again. Car Goddess is here, she is beautiful and so is her car. I heard that someone wants to challenge Car Goddess. He is really reckless. Nalan Wushuang wore a tight leather coat today, which outlined her almost perfect figure. All the male creatures on the top of the mountain couldn't help swallowing their saliva. Dongfang Liang's expression stagnated. He had long heard that Car Goddess in Jiangnan City was a great beauty, but he didn't expect her to be so beautiful. In contrast, the woman beside him was suddenly overshadowed. Who wants to challenge me? Nalan Wushuang cried around. It's me. Dongfang Liang strode over. He saw that Nalan Wushuang's appearance was comparable to that of the beautiful President Lin Momo. It would be good if he could win the beauty. And he was confident in his driving skills and felt that he could conquer the other side. Well, let's start. Nalan Wushuang said simply. Wait a minute. Dongfang Liang said, since it's a race we have to have some stakes. Say, what do you want to bet? Nalan Wushuang asked. How about this, I'll bet 500,000 on the underwear you're wearing, and you'll drink with me tonight. Dongfang Liang said with a smirk. You're courting death. Nalan Wushuang's face suddenly became cold when she saw this guy flirting with her. Why don't you dare to bet? Aren't you known as Car Goddess? Are you afraid of losing? Dongfang Liang said proudly. When Nalan Wushuang was about to say something, she heard a voice saying, I'll bet with you. As soon as the words came out, everyone was stunned. Who was this? He dared to make decisions for Car Goddess. Looking in the direction of the voice, they saw a handsome young man coming out of the co-pilot's seat of Lamborghini. Qin Haodong originally wanted to hitch a ride, watch the race and be a bystander. He didn't expect that it was Dongfang Liang who was going to challenge Nalan Wushuang. It seemed that they were really destined to meet, so he got out of the car. It's you? After seeing Qin Haodong, Dongfang Liang's eyes were burning. A few hours ago he was beaten like a dog by this guy. Soldier King, what a coincidence we meet so soon. However, Qin Haodong smiled happily. Dongfang Liang ignored him and turned to Nalan Wushuang and said, How about it, do you dare to bet? Why not? I said I'll bet with you. Qin Haodong once again agreed for Nalan Wushuang. Nalan Wushuang gave Qin Haodong a hard look. He promised so quickly, but it had nothing to do with him if he lost. Dongfang Liang stared at Qin Haodong and said, What do you say? What does it have to do with you? Nalan Wushuang said, His words are my meaning. I'll bet with you. See, I still mean what I say. Qin Haodong said with a smile. There was a flash of anger in Dongfang Liang's eyes. Lin Momo had an unclear relationship with this guy, and this beautiful Car Goddess was so close to him. What? Wasn't this the treatment that Soldier King deserved? Chapter 44. Qin Haodong looked at him and asked, Do you want to bet with me? What do you want to bet? Don't you think this lady will win? If she wins, I'll give you 100,000 yuan. What if I lose? Qin Haodong knew very well that this guy would never give him 100,000 yuan for nothing. Sure enough, Dongfang Liang said with a smile, If this lady loses, you will take off your clothes and run around the top of this mountain. Unexpectedly, he would make such a bet, and there was a burst of laughter in the crowd. How about it? Dare to bet? Dongfang Liang asked proudly. Aren't you very good at fighting? So what? As a soldier king, he knew all kinds of skills and had full confidence in his driving skills. Qin Haodong understood that this guy wanted to make a fool of himself here. He said with a cold smile, Let's bet, but the bet you said is too small. If we want to play, let's play a little bigger. He pointed back to the Lamborghini Centenario and said, This is my car. If we lose, this car will be given to you and I will run around the top of this mountain naked. There was an uproar in the crowd. At first, everyone thought this car belonged to Nalan Wushuang. Unexpectedly, it belonged to the young man in ordinary clothes in front of them, and he dared to bet so much. This was a luxury car worth more than 40 million yuan. Where did he get the courage to bet? Dongfang Liang was also slightly stunned. He originally wanted to make Qin Haodong a fool, but he didn't expect the other side to raise the bet so much. Qin Haodong continued, "You must know the value of this car. If you lose, give me 40 million yuan and run around the top of this mountain naked. How about it? Dare to bet?" Dongfang Liang was embarrassed, his old face was red, and he said embarrassedly, "I don't have so much money." Although he claimed to be a soldier king, he was actually just a relatively famous mercenary in Southeast Asia. Although he had made some money over the years, he didn't have 40 million yuan in savings. This bet was proposed by him, but he couldn't come up with so much money, which was really shameful. Qin Haodong needed money to build a security company. He originally wanted to make a lot of money from Dongfang Liang, but he didn't expect that this guy was actually poor. But he didn't want to let it go, so he asked, "How much money do you have?" 15 million. Dongfang Liang said this is all he has. Qin Haodong said, "Well, 15 million then. Plus your car, I'll bet with you." The onlookers widened their eyes, wondering if this young man was a fool. Using 40 million to bet less than 20 million meant that one was either confident of winning or mentally ill. Dongfang Liang's spirit was refreshed. He had a big advantage in this gambling way. Lamborghini Centenario could not be bought with money. He immediately agreed, "Well, I'll bet with you." After that, as if he was afraid that Qin Haodong would go back on his word, he immediately turned around and said to one of his men, "Make the bet immediately." His men were well equipped. They quickly took out their laptops and printers and printed out the two contracts. Since he didn't know Nalan Wushuang's name, the two gambling parties were Lamborghini Centenario and Porsche 911. Dongfang Liang sent the bet to Qin Haodong, "If you have no objection, let's sign it." Qin Haodong looked at it and found that the bet was quite standard. There was no trap set, so he signed his name directly. Nalan Wushuang's initial bet was also written in the bet and she signed her name. Dongfang Liang's mouth was full of pride, as if he had seen the scene of his victory. After signing his name, he made two copies of the bet, one for Qin Haodong and the other for himself. Glancing at Dongfang Liang, Qin Haodong secretly laughed. It was absolutely impossible for him to lose. After the bet was fulfilled, Qin Haodong and Nalan Wushuang got on the Lamborghini, and Dongfang Liang took the woman to the Porsche 911. The game began. When the two cars were on the same line, the referee fired the starting gun in his hand. Dongfang Liang and Nalan Wushuang stepped on the accelerator at the same time, and the two cars rushed forward like arrows from the bow. At the beginning, Lamborghini Centenario showed its superiority in performance. After 100 meters, it was one position behind Porsche 911. However, Snake Mountain was known as 9 curves and 18 coils. There were few straight roads and most of them were curves. When entering the first curve, Dongfang Liang's technical advantage was shown. The Porsche 911 drifted beautifully and left Lamborghini Centenario behind. Qin Haodong could see that although Nalan Wushuang's driving skills were much better than ordinary people, there was still a big gap between her and a player like Dongfang Liang. Especially in the curve, her performance was very obvious. She still fell behind when the performance of the car was superior. "Sister, are you sure the title of car goddess is not bought?" "Of course not." Seeing that she was left behind by Dongfang Liang, Nalan Wushuang was also annoyed and desperately chased after him. It was just that this road was full of curves and was surrounded by cliffs. If she was not careful, the car would be destroyed, so she did not dare to work too hard. "But can you tell me how you got this title?" Qin Haodong felt that Nalan Wushuang's title of car goddess was really exaggerated. "Because I beat the car goddess last time, so everyone called me car goddess." "Are you sure that car goddess is not a disabled person?" Qin Haodong asked, looking at the Porsche 911 getting farther and farther away. "What disabled person? He was very handsome and later he chased me for a long time, but I didn't agree with him." Qin Haodong understood that it seemed that the so-called car goddess wanted to pursue Nalan Wushuang, so he let her win, making this girl really think that her driving skills were unparalleled in the world. The reason why these people were willing to come to Snake Mountain to race was that the terrain here was so suitable. The onlookers could stand on the top of the mountain and have a panoramic view of the racing scene below. At the beginning, many of Nalan Wushuang's fans cheered for her, but soon seeing the gap between the two cars getting bigger and bigger, these people closed their mouths. It was obvious that the two people were not on the same level. It's all your fault. Why do you want me to make a bet? Nailan Wushuang complained to Qin Haodong while trying to control the car. Can you blame me for this? You told me before that I would definitely win. Qin Haodong said, and I lost a luxury car, a big loss, and you can't pay a penny? Nonsense. If I lose, I'll give my underwear to that bastard. So what? I'm going to run naked. Although Qin Haodong quarreled with Nailan Wushuang, he looked relaxed as if he didn't care about winning or losing the bet. Can you blame me? If it weren't for you, I wouldn't have agreed. Nailan Wushuang was extremely annoyed at the thought of handing over her underwear if she lost. If it weren't for Qin Haodong's face, she would bet 500,000 yuan with Dongfang Liang at most. This money was nothing to her, and she would not be as embarrassed as she was now. The car was about to reach the bottom of the mountain, and the race was halfway through. Now she couldn't even see the taillights of Xikong Liang's car, and even she lost confidence. Looking at Nailan Wushuang, who was on the verge of despair, Qin Haodong said with a smile, I can help you win the game, but you have to give me your bet with that guy. Nailan Wushuang glared at Qin Haodong. If you can let me win, I'll give you another 500,000 yuan. Qin Haodong glanced at her chest and said with a smile, I'm not talking about that guy's bet, but the bet you have to lose. You don't even think about it. Nailan Wushuang didn't expect Qin Haodong to want her underwear. Think about it, it's very shameful to take off your underwear and give it to that guy in public. If you give it to me secretly, no one will know. It's still a good deal for you. If she wasn't driving, Nailan Wushuang really wanted to kick Qin Haodong hard. She even thought that this was a conspiracy planned by him in advance, so she made a bet with Dongfang Liang. If you lose, you have to run naked and pay a car. I don't believe you have a way not to use it. Qin Haodong said indifferently, I'm a man. I don't care about running naked, and this car was originally given by your Nailan family. I won't feel bad if I lose. Nailan Wushuang was so angry with Qin Haodong that she gnashed her teeth. I tell you, it's almost halfway. If you don't make up your mind when we get to the foot of the mountain, I can't help it. During the conversation, the two cars arrived at the foot of the mountain. Dongfang Liang's Porsche 911 bypassed a small turntable according to the established schedule and turned around to drive up the mountain. Nailan Wushuang saw that it was really too late, so she gritted her teeth and said, I promise you. Qin Haodong laughed and seemed to know that she would definitely agree. Ready, let's change seats. After that, he reached out to hold Nailan Wushuang, and the two of them completed a high-speed switch in the narrow space. You bastard. Nailan Wushuang sat in the passenger seat and glared at Qin Haodong angrily. This guy took advantage of her by changing seats. Although the time was very short, she still felt hot on her chest and buttocks, which gave her a feeling she had never felt before. You can't blame me. It's only there. Other parts are not easy to grasp. You can see how dangerous it is here. If I change it slowly, I will die. Qin Haodong said justifiably. Seeing that you can't win the game, I must teach you a lesson. Nailan Wushuang suddenly came to her senses and asked, Didn't you say you had never driven a car? Yes, I've never raced with others, but I think it's very simple. Although it's my first time, I'm sure I can drive better than you. Nailan Wushuang was completely mad. She really couldn't understand what was in Qin Haodong's mind. He had never raced with a master like Dongfang Liang. She seemed to have seen the scene of losing the game. Sit tight, I'm going to speed up. Then Qin Haodong stepped on the accelerator. Lamborghini Centenario roared and soared. Nailan Wushuang quickly fastened her seat belt. Although the game was important, her life was more important. Lamborghini Centenario drove faster and faster, exerting its performance to the extreme. There was a very steep bend in front of her, and below it was a bottomless abyss. Nailan Wushuang hurriedly cried, Slow down, slow down. Chapter 45. Lunatic, are you a lunatic? Nailan Wushuang screamed and then covered her eyes with her hands. She was ready to fall off the cliff. The people watching on the mountain also noticed the difference of the Lamborghini. At this speed, the car would be destroyed and many women would die. Many women screamed. It's over, my goddess. It's just a bet. Is it necessary to work so hard? Many people sighed for the imminent death of Nailan Wushuang. The Lamborghini quickly rushed into the corner. Qin Haodong's hands rotated rapidly and turned the steering wheel quickly. The sports car made an unimaginable drift under his control. Almost half of the car was thrown out of the cliff, and it rushed back by strong inertia. Oh my god, is this still drifting? It's a miracle. Is the car goddess possessed by Schumacher? How can she have such a magical operation? There was a cry of surprise on the top of the mountain. Most of them were racing enthusiasts. They had seen all kinds of competitions, but they had never seen such a difficult drifting. Nalan Wuxia covered her eyes with her hands, but before the collision with the cliff, she opened her eyes and saw the Lamborghini continuing to rush forward. Pete, how is it possible? We are not dead? She asked in surprise. It's just a piece of cake. You don't believe in my driving skills. Qin Haodong said and drove into the next corner again. His spirit was extremely powerful. When he came, he had remembered the road conditions clearly, and even knew where there was a stone. Coupled with his strong perception, he drove the Lamborghini like a fish in water. Soon the shadow of the Porsche 911 appeared in his sight again. Dongfang Liang drove all the way ahead, and the smile on his face became more and more complacent. His driving skills were practiced when he was a mercenary. He had experienced the test of life and death. How could a girl compare with him? After half of the race, he was sure that he had won the race. It seemed that he had seen Nalan Wuxia taking off her underwear in front of him and the Lamborghini Centenario worth 40 million yuan driving towards him. Suddenly his expression froze. He saw the Lamborghini Centenario rushing over from the rearview mirror. Although he wanted this car very much, it was not the time. He quickly put away the smile on his face and drove the Porsche 911 forward at top speed. There was less than a quarter of the distance to the finish line. As long as he persisted, he would definitely win the final victory. However, no matter how hard he tried, the Lamborghini behind him was getting closer and closer. He was horrified to find that the car almost never slowed down when turning, relying on its amazing driving skills to rush through one curve after another. Just a few minutes, the front of the Lamborghini Centenario had approached the rear of the Porsche 911. It won't be that easy to defeat me. Dongfang Liang used a rogue tactic to block the road with his sports car. If the Lamborghini went to the left, his Porsche would block the left. If the Lamborghini went to the right, the Porsche would block the right. This scoundrel is too shameless. Nalan Wuxia's initial panic had disappeared. She had now seen Qin Haodong's driving skills. He was much better than her, and he had made up such a big gap. What should we do? We are coming to the finish line soon. If this guy is always so rogue, we still can't rush over. Nalan Wuxia said worriedly. Qin Haodong smiled and said, don't worry unless he is really not afraid of death. Soon the two cars came to the last curve. The curve was so great that it almost exceeded 90 degrees. The car had to slow down when passing this curve. Heaven, so there were often all kinds of traffic accidents here, and everyone called it Ghost's Worry. After entering the Ghost's Worry, Dongfang Liang had to slow down because it was too dangerous here. But when Qin Haodong rushed into the Ghost's Worry, he stepped on the accelerator and rushed into the curve without fear of death. What the hell, what is the car goddess doing? Does she want to die together? The people on the mountain exclaimed. They did not know that Qin Haodong had replaced the driver of the Lamborghini. Dongfang Liang's Porsche was still in front of the Lamborghini, but when he was about to enter the curve, if he kept this position once the rear of the car was hit by the Lamborghini, he would inevitably fall into the cliff in front of him. Seeing that the speed of the Lamborghini behind him did not slow down at all, Dongfang Liang scolded fiercely, "Madman, what a fucking madman." Although the game was important, it was not as important as his own life. He had to turn the steering wheel to make way. Then the Lamborghini brushed past it, did a beautiful drift and rushed past Devil's Grimace, leaving the Porsche 911 behind. Oh my god, the car goddess is so great. This is simply godly maneuvering. This is simply too miraculous. After a burst of exclamation, there was warm applause on the top of the mountain. Everyone applauded the wonderful performance of Lamborghini Centenario. Even Dongfang Liang's men could not help applauding. When Dongfang Liang turned the Ghost's Worry, he could only see the two taillights left by the Lamborghini. He had lost, and he had lost completely. When the Lamborghini Centenario passed the finish line, the onlookers immediately gathered around and wanted to congratulate the goddess in their hearts. Unexpectedly, when the door opened, it was Qin Haodong who got out. Everyone opened their mouths in surprise. They didn't know when the two men changed positions because they saw it clearly from the mountain and didn't see the car stop. At this time, Dongfang Liang's Porsche 911 also passed the finish line, but as a loser, not many people paid attention to him. When he saw Qin Haodong coming down from the driver's seat, he was stunned. He didn't expect that it was Qin Haodong who defeated him. After a while, he understood that no wonder the Lamborghini's performance was so different. It turned out that the driver had changed halfway. Last night he was defeated by Qin Haodong. Now he was defeated by Qin Haodong in driving skills, which hurt him, who had always boasted of being the Soldier King. While he was in a daze, Qin Haodong walked over with a smile, patted the front hood of the Porsche and said, "Soldier King, from now on this car is mine. Be careful, don't scratch it." "No, you cheated." Dong Liang suddenly cried out, "You changed the driver in the middle of the race. This is cheating. It's the racer goddess who competed with me, not you." After he said this, there was a burst of boos from the crowd. Everyone knew about cars. There was no rule that said that a driver could not be changed during a race. Because in a high-speed car, every second could determine the outcome of the race. If there was no rule, no one would do it. Qin Haodong smiled. He took out the bet from his pocket and said, "Soldier King, you made this bet. It's clearly written on it. Whoever reaches the finish line first wins, but it didn't specify who will drive." "Pia?" Dong Liang looked dull. The bet did not specify this. In fact, if Qin Haodong proposed to replace Nalin Wushuang, he would not object, because he didn't think Qin Haodong could defeat him. "What, Soldier King? Are you going to repudiate the bet?" Qin Haodong's face became cold and his eyes were as sharp as a knife. It was impossible to repudiate the bet in front of him. "That's right. It's obvious that your skills are not as good as others. Why do you still want to repudiate the bet? He bet you 20 million yuan with 40 million yuan, and you still repudiate the bet after losing. Don't you feel ashamed?" All the people present stood on Qin Haodong's side, and only Dong Liang's men stood behind him. These people were even ready to fight. Dong Liang knew that if the other party was someone else, he might really repudiate the bet. After all, he lost all his money. But the young man standing on the other side was a tough character. Even if they fought together, they would not be able to defeat him, so he didn't dare to repudiate the bet. "I give up." He gritted his teeth, took out his mobile phone, transferred 15 million yuan to Qin Haodong and 500,000 yuan to Nalin Wushuang. After that, he threw the Porsche key to Qin Haodong, waved to his men and said, "Let's go." "Wait a minute." Qin Haodong stopped Dong Liang and said with a smile, "Soldier King, it seems that your bet has not been fully fulfilled." Dong Liang said angrily, "I've given you the money and the car. What else do you want?" Qin Haodong raised the bet in his hand and said with a smile, "Soldier King, your memory is really bad. Fortunately, the bet is written in black and white. If you lose, you have to run around the top of Snake Mountain naked. Come on, everyone is waiting to see." Qin Haodong, "Don't go too far." Dong Liang said, gnashing his teeth. "Soldier King, that's not right. You were the one who proposed the bet and both of us signed on it. How is it that I'm going too far?" Many people around followed and shouted, Yes, you have to admit defeat. Hurry up and take off your clothes." "Soldier King, you don't want me to do it, do you?" Qin Haodong said and turned his wrist, with an expression that he would do it if you didn't take off your clothes. "You win." Dong Liang looked at Qin Haodong with humiliation, then took off his coat angrily, followed by his trousers, and finally left only his underwear. Considering that there were Nalin Wushuang and other women next to him, Qin Haodong didn't say anything. Dong Liang ran on the top of the mountain wearing only his underwear. After running one round, he got into one of his men's black cars and left the Snake Mountain in a sorry state. Behind him, there was a burst of laughter. At the end of the game, Qin Haodong drove Lamborghini and Nalin Wushuang drove the trophy Porsche 911 and left Snake Mountain. After helping Qin Haodong send the Porsche home, Qin Haodong drove Nalin Wushuang home. In front of the military sanatorium, Nalin Wushuang said, "Thank you, or I would have lost tonight." Qin Haodong said with a smile, "You're welcome. Without you, I wouldn't have made 15 million yuan so easily and a car." Then I'm leaving. Goodbye." Nalin Wushuang was about to get out of the car, but Qin Haodong grabbed her hand and said, "Wait a minute, what are you going to do?" Nalin Wushuang asked with a red face. It's not what I'm going to do. You haven't paid me the bet yet." Qin Haodong said with a smirk. Nalin Wushuang blushed and didn't know what to do for a while. Qin Haodong did help her win the game. According to the agreement, she should take off her underwear to fulfill her promise, but how could she do such a thing? Chapter 46. Qin Haodong laughed and said, "Even the Soldier King didn't go back on his word. You don't want to go back on your word, do you?" Nalin Wushuang blushed and whispered, "I won't go back on my word. Can you change the condition?" Change the condition? Qin Haodong held his chin with his right hand and thought for a moment. After a while he said, "Well, you can kiss me. That's enough." "Peek, that won't do. Change the condition, or I'll give you the 500,000 yuan I won." Qin Haodong laughed and said, "That won't do. Do I look like a greedy person? Either take off your underwear and give it to me or kiss me. There are no other options." "Ping, well?" Nailin Wushuang thought for a moment. A kiss was much better than taking off her underwear, so she quickly kissed Qin Haodong on the cheek, like a dragonfly skimming the water. Heaven, so she was so ashamed that she turned around and ran away immediately after the kiss. Before Qin Haodong was ready, Nailin Wushuang finished the kiss. He cried discontentedly, "Hey, no, it's too fast. The quality is not up to standard. I'm going to complain to the Quality Supervision Bureau." But no matter how he shouted, Nailin Wushuang didn't look back and hurried into the gate of the sanatorium. The guards at the gate were familiar with Nailin Wushuang, but they didn't understand why Miss Nailin, who had always been hot-tempered, became like this today. She looked like a shy little wife. Slapping the soldier king, flirting with a beauty and earning more than 10 million yuan, Qin Haodong was in a very good mood and went home whistling. At the same time, in a 5-star hotel, soldier king Dongfang Liang was making a phone call. "I tell you, the fee must be raised this time. Mr. Dongfang, we have agreed on 10 million yuan. How can you raise the price temporarily? You mercenaries should also have some credibility." Dongfang Liang said, "In order to complete this task in Jiangnan, I have lost 19 million yuan, so you must give me 20 million yuan. Otherwise I'll leave now and I won't take this task." The other side of the phone pondered for a moment and finally said, "Well, as long as Mr. Dongfang does it well, I can give you 20 million yuan. Don't worry, I'll make you satisfied. I'll do it when I find the right opportunity." Dongfang Liang hung up the phone, and his depressed mood finally improved a little. He just agreed to pay 20 million yuan. Excluding the 19 million yuan he lost to Qin Haodong tonight, there was still 1 million yuan left. Although the number was a little small, it was better than losing money. The next morning, Qin Haodong came to Lin's villa as usual. As soon as he entered the door, Damao and Ermao jumped at his feet happily. These two little things were indeed growing too fast. It only took a day for them to grow a little bigger. Dongfang Liang also came to the door of Lin's villa with his 8 men to escort Lin Momo to work. After breakfast, Qin Haodong and Lin Momo took the little fellow out of the house. When he saw Dongfang Liang, he smiled and said, "Soldier King, did you catch a cold last night?" Dongfang Liang snorted and ignored Qin Haodong. He opened the door and let Lin Momo get in. Qin Haodong also sat in the car with the little fellow in his arms. After sending Tang Tang to the kindergarten, Qin Haodong said to Lin Momo, "Shall I accompany you to work?" "I'm going to work." "Why are you coming with me?" Qin Haodong said, "You can also find a job for me. Anyway, I'm on vacation now, so I'm working in your company." "What can you do?" Lin Momo asked. "An all-round talent like me can do anything. How about being your personal male secretary? The secretary has something to do during the day and has nothing to do at night." Speaking of this, Qin Haodong winked at Lin Momo with a look that said, "You know what I mean." Nonsense again. What male secretary? I don't lack a secretary at all." Lin Momo thought for a moment and said, "Well, the company's healthcare doctor has just resigned. You happen to be a doctor, so you can go to our company to be a healthcare doctor. But your medical skills are wasted." It's okay as long as I'm with you," Qin Haodong said. "Well, you can work with me today. Your monthly salary is 10,000 yuan. No problem, you don't have to pay." Qin Haodong followed Lin Momo to get in the car. Of course, he did not want to make money, but to accompany Lin Momo. After experiencing 2 consecutive assassinations, he could rest assured with her. Seeing Qin Haodong get in the car again, Dongfang Liang glared at him fiercely, but as a bodyguard he had no choice but to take the motorcade to the company of Lin's group. In front of Lin's group, many people gathered in the small square at the entrance. In the middle of the square, a fiery Maserati sports car was parked, with a heart-shaped pattern made of roses in front of the car. These roses were very fresh, and some even had dewdrops on them, exuding a charming fragrance. There were as many as 9,999 roses. In front of the Maserati car, there stood a young man in a white Armani suit. In all fairness, the young man was a little handsome, and with such a large sum of money, he immediately attracted the attention of countless people. This is the young master of the Feng family. Soon someone recognized that this young man was Feng Tianda, the young master of Jiangnan Feng's group. Feng's group was also one of the few large consortiums in Jiangnan, mainly in the jewelry industry. Almost half of the jewelry stores in Jiangnan belonged to the Feng family, and the other half belonged to Lin's group. Feng's group and Lin's group were competitors. They didn't know what the young master of the Feng family was doing here today. Some women even imagined that Feng Tianda was coming to confess his love to them. Feeling the eager eyes around him, Feng Tianda obviously enjoyed it very much. He raised his wrist and looked at the Rolex limited edition watch worth more than 1 million yuan. It was already 8:30 in the morning, and Lin Momo should be here soon. He adjusted his posture in front of the Maserati, put on a pose that he thought was very handsome, and leaned against the car with one hand holding his chin. Suddenly, many women around him screamed excitedly. P***CK, are these women blind? This is such an old-fashioned position, I stopped doing it 10 years ago. A man said angrily. The pose is not important. What matters is what car is behind you. If you rely on an electric tricycle, naturally no one will care about you. He is relying on a Maserati which is worth millions. Well, don't talk about it. Hurry up and move the bricks. The foreman is calling us. At this time, Lin Momo's motorcade drove over and stopped steadily at the door of Lin's group. As soon as Lin Momo got out of the car, she saw the heart-shaped rose blocking the door and Feng Tianda in a pretentious pose. Over the years, in order to protect Tang Tang from harm, she had been refusing the pursuit of all men, and even put on a cold face. This method was really effective. It had been a long time since such a scene had happened. Unexpectedly, there was another pursuer today, and it was Feng Tianda who she didn't want to see the most. Feng Tianda was the son of Feng Xing, the head of Feng's group. Lin Momo and he were college classmates, so she knew this person very well. He was very scheming and ambitious. At the same time, she was also very clear that the reason why Feng Tianda pursued her was that he wanted to annex Lin's group and control the entire jewelry industry in Jiangnan City through her. Momo, here you are. After seeing Lin Momo, Feng Tianda immediately walked over and said with a smile, "These are the 9,999 roses I prepared for you. Do you like them?" Only then did the onlookers know that he was pursuing Lin Momo, the president. No wonder he made such a big scene. But Lin Momo was a famous iceberg beauty president, so he should have no chance. I don't like them. As everyone expected, Lin Momo coldly refused Feng Tianda. Momo, why are you so unapproachable? We are classmates and we know each other. It's the most suitable for us to be together. I know you have a daughter, but I don't care. I will treat her as my own daughter. No, I already have a boyfriend. Lin Momo said, Feng Tianda, get out of the way, I'm going to work. Impossible, Momo, don't lie to me. How can I not know that you have a boyfriend? Feng Tianda said, reaching out and grabbing Lin Momo's arm. Seeing that this guy wanted to pursue his wife and be the stepfather of his daughter, Qin Haodong was extremely unhappy. But before he stepped forward, Dongfang Liang had rushed over. A bodyguard on the first day, Dongfang Liang thought it was his chance to show off. He pushed Feng Tianda away, stood in front of Lin Momo and shouted, President Lin, I'm here. Don't be afraid. The mercenaries he brought with him stood in a circle in front of Lin Momo to protect her. Lin Tianda was pushed back a few steps by surprise. He was annoyed, stared at Dongfang Liang and said, Boy, do you know who I am? How dare you touch me? No matter who you are, I'm Miss Lin's bodyguard and I must protect Miss Lin. Dongfang Liang's words were awe-inspiring and majestic. Bodyguard. Lin Tianda sneered, does Lin's group want to compete with me in bodyguard? Let's see who is more powerful. He had two purposes today. One was to create an impression of pursuing Lin Momo, and the other was to humiliate Lin's group. After that he waved his hand, Damao and Ermao teach them a lesson. Damao and Ermao? Qin Haodong was surprised. Weren't they his two little snow mastiffs? How could they have the same name? At this time, two middle-aged men who were not tall and not very strong came to Lin Tianda. Seeing these two people, Qin Haodong's face changed slightly. Although they looked ordinary, they were real warriors. Although they were not as good as those of the divine mercenaries, they could also reach the third or fourth level of overt power. Dongfang Liang and his men looked very strong and muscular. They could deal with ordinary people, but once they met such real warriors, they would inevitably suffer a big loss. But Qin Haodong did not intend to fight. Dongfang Liang was a bodyguard of Lin's family, and he got a lot of salary. Naturally, he had to bear the responsibility of a bodyguard. And this guy liked to show off, so he was happy to see him suffer some losses. Dongfang Liang did not have Qin Haodong's sharp eyes. He could not see the strength of Damao and Ermao at all. In his eyes, they were just two vulnerable ordinary people. "Pin boy, I'll show you what a real bodyguard is and what a soldier king is." He finished speaking, he swung his fists at Damao, creating a gust of wind. Chapter 47. Damao looked cold. In the face of Dongfang Liang's magnificent punch, he didn't flinch. He raised his hand and punched out. Fai's fist was smaller than Dongfang Liang's. In contrast, it was not so powerful. But when the two fists collided, Damao only took a small step back, while Dongfang Liang took 3 or 4 steps back in succession before he could barely stand. Dongfang Liang's face suddenly changed. He didn't expect that Damao, who looked thin and weak, had such great strength. No matter what he thought, Damao didn't give him a chance to breathe. He took a step forward and then kicked Dongfang Liang's chest with a side kick. Dongfang Liang quickly moved sideways to avoid the kick and fought with Damao. On the other side, Ermao also fought with Dongfang Liang's mercenaries. It turned out that there was still a big gap between these ordinary mercenaries and real warriors. About 3 minutes later, Dongfang Liang was kicked away by Damao, lying on the ground and couldn't get up again. And his men were also beaten by Ermao, lying on the ground and crying for their parents. Seeing the scene in front of him, Feng Tianda's mouth showed a touch of pride. These 2 bodyguards were hired by him at a high price. Today he brought them to trample on the face of Lin's group. Now it seemed that the effect was good. There was an uproar among the onlookers. They didn't expect the 2 bodyguards brought by Feng Tianda to be so powerful. In contrast, Lin's group was much worse. Feng Tianda walked to Lin Momo again and said proudly, "Momo, we're all old classmates. There's no need to make our relationship so tense. Come with me. Let's have some tea, chat, and find a place to talk about life." What a great thing. Lin Momo's face was livid. She had already understood that Feng Tianda was looking for trouble. She couldn't help but say angrily, "Get out of here. You really refuse a toast only to drink a forfeit." Feng Tianda's face darkened and said to Damao and Ermao, "Let's invite Miss Lin to have tea." According to his plan, as long as Damao and Ermao took Lin Momo away from Lin's group, the Lin family would be completely disgraced. Today's plan was mostly successful. Damao and Ermao agreed and reached out to grab Lin Momo's arms from both sides. The bodyguards of the Lin family had already been taken down by them, so they were unscrupulous in grabbing the woman in front of them, thinking that the woman in front of them no longer had the ability to resist. "Get your dog paws off me." Unexpectedly, before their hands touched Lin Momo's arm, suddenly 2 crisp sounds were heard. Damao and Ermao flew backward, each with a huge and bright red palm print on their faces. Feng Tianda was shocked when he saw his 2 powerful bodyguards were sent flying. He didn't expect that Lin Momo had hidden such a powerful backup. The onlookers were also very surprised. They had just seen the power of Damao and Ermao. They didn't expect that they would be defeated like this. Many people's faces showed excitement. There would be a good show to watch. Of course it was Qin Haodong. He walked to Lin Momo with a smile and said to Damao and Ermao, "How is it? Does it taste good? I tell you too, go back and change your names quickly because Damao and Ermao have been used by my 2 dogs. Although you are also dogs, you can't have the same name as my dogs. You can call them Damao and Ermao, or Poop and Poop. Anyway, you can't be called Damao and Ermao, or I will beat you every time I see you." After he said this, the crowd burst into laughter. Damao and Ermao's eyes suddenly turned red. As a warrior, they had never been so insulted. They immediately roared and rushed to Qin Haodong. "You're so reckless." Qin Haodong's eyes flashed with cold light. He punched Damao and Ermao, who didn't even have the ability to resist, were sent flying and fell 7 or 8 meters away. After dealing with these 2 people, he happily walked to Feng Tianda, who was stunned. "Young Master Feng, what do you think I should do with you? You can't hit me. I tell you, I'm the young master of Feng's group." Feng Tianda said in horror. Without the protection of Damao and Ermao, he was nothing at all. "The young master of Feng's group. We have to give him face." After saying that, Qin Haodong lifted his right foot and kicked Feng Tianda's lower abdomen, making him fly into the air and fall directly into the center of the pile of roses. Feng Tianda screamed miserably. Roses had thorns. At this time he had hundreds of thorns all over his body. Qin Haodong clapped his hands and said, "According to your request, I didn't hit him. I kicked him with my feet." Bastard, how dare you hit me? I won't forgive you." Feng Tianda climbed out of the roses. His somewhat handsome face had been twisted with pain. He took out his mobile phone from his pocket, dialed a phone number and roared, "Call me 10 bodyguards, not 20. Take them to the gate of Lin's group." Lin Momo was very clear about the strength of the Feng family. She came to Qin Haodong with some worry and whispered, "Haodong, you hide Peanut's okay. If he can call people, so can I." Qin Haodong smiled at Lin Momo indifferently. Then he took out his old dummy mobile phone and dialed Nalan Wuxia's number. When Nalan Wuxia saw Qin Haodong's number, she immediately pressed the answer button and joked, "Great magic doctor, you called me. Did you meet a killer again?" This time it's not a killer. It's a hooligan. Someone wants to molest me. Come and have a look." After Qin Haodong said that, Lin Momo couldn't help laughing. "Qin Haodong, can you be a little serious?" "I'm busy." "I'm serious. Come here quickly. That guy is calling someone. If I'm late, I'll be beaten by him." Qin Haodong said. "Are you sure you're not kidding?" Nalan Wuxia asked again. "No, I'm not. Hurry up." He's at the gate of Lin's group. Qin Haodong hung up the phone. After the phone call, he stepped to the pile of roses and said to the onlookers, "It's not easy for you to watch the fun. It's very hard. Take some roses back. You see, these roses are so fresh. It's perfect for men to give to their girlfriends. For women, dry it and drink it. It's good for beauty and blood circulation." After that, he gave all the 9,999 roses that belonged to Feng Tianda to others. The onlookers didn't hesitate. They took one bouquet after another and soon the large pile of roses was divided. Feng Tianda was so angry that he gritted his teeth. "Boy, wait and see. My people will break your bones when they come." This time there was a harsh sound of brakes. 4 black business cars stopped at the gate of Lin's group. More than 20 bodyguards in black jumped out of the cars and ran to Feng Tianda. Seeing Feng Tianda with thorns all over his body, the head bodyguard was shocked and asked, "Young master, what's going on?" Feng Tianda pointed at Qin Haodong and shouted with a ferocious face, "It's all because of this little bastard. Beat him hard. Beat him so hard that even his mother won't recognize him." Receiving the master's order, the head bodyguard waved his hand and 20 bodyguards immediately swarmed up and surrounded Qin Haodong. The bodyguards of the Feng family were all veterans and had received professional combat training. They looked extraordinary. Lin Momo looked anxious. Although she knew that Qin Haodong was very powerful and good at fighting, he might be at a disadvantage against so many people. At this moment, a siren sounded and 2 police cars drove over quickly. The door opened and Nalan Wuxia jumped out with 7 or 8 policemen. "What's going on? Stop it, all of you." Nalan Wuxia shouted at the bodyguards who were beating Qin Haodong. "Don't stop. Beat him hard." Feng Tianda was pulling the rose thorns on his face in front of the rearview mirror of the Maserati. Every time he pulled one out, he would grimace in pain and tears would flow down. He hated Qin Haodong even more. The bodyguards of the Feng family naturally knew Feng Tianda's power, so they didn't take him seriously. They continued to attack Qin Haodong according to the young master's order. Seeing that these people didn't take her seriously, Nalan Wuxia's face turned cold and she shouted at Feng Tianda, "Ask them to stop." Feng Tianda didn't look back at all. He shouted arrogantly, "How dare you meddle in my business? Get out of here, or I'll take off your police uniform." According to his usual style, he really didn't take ordinary policemen seriously. Contempt of the police, gathering people to fight, cuff him. Nalan Wuxia shouted angrily, and immediately a young policeman took out handcuffs and handcuffed Feng Tianda. "Who are you? I don't want to work anymore. How dare you rely on me? Don't you know I'm the young master of the Feng family?" Feng Tianda was furious. He looked back while swearing and suddenly saw Nalan Wuxia's angry face. "Officer Nalan?" Feng Tianda was stunned. Nalan Wuxia was definitely one of the few people he was afraid of in Jiangnan City. This girl was hot-tempered and didn't tolerate his bad habits at all. The most important thing was that she was backed by the Nalan family, which was 100 times more powerful than Feng's group. "Ask your men to stop," Nalan Wuxia said coldly. "Okay." Feng Tianda didn't dare to be arrogant this time. He answered honestly and turned to his men and shouted, "Stop fighting, all of you." But in such a short time 5 or 6 of his bodyguards had been put down. These people had seen Qin Haodong's power, and they stopped immediately after hearing their master's order. Since these people stopped fighting, Qin Haodong immediately ran to Nalan Wuxia and stepped on the face of a bodyguard on the way. "Officer, you're here. If you come later, I'll be killed by these hooligans." Looking at Qin Haodong's pitiful appearance, Nalan Wuxia thought to herself, will you die if you don't act tough? It's you who beat him, but you make it seem like you've suffered a lot. Peen, what the hell is going on? Nalan Wuxia asked. Peen, officer, this hooligan took liberties with our boss Lin in public. I bravely taught him a lesson, but he found so many people to beat me up. You must give me justice. Peen, nonsense, it's not like that. Feng Tianda wanted to explain, but he couldn't say it clearly in a hurry. Qin Haodong ignored him at all. He pointed to Dongfeng Liang and others who had just got up and said, Officer, look, these are Boss Lin's bodyguards. Look how badly they beat them. P. Nalan Wushuang turned to look at Feng Tianda. Did you do this, P? Chapter 48. Pidongfeng Liang was indeed injured by Damao and Ermao. Feng Tianda wanted to deny it, but he couldn't find a suitable excuse. Peen, officer, you don't have to ask him. I have witnesses here. Qin Haodong said, pointing to Feng Tianda and shouting to the crowd around him. Do you think this guy molested women in public? P. Yes. P. Everyone shouted in unison. P. These people just got benefits from Qin Haodong. The roses in their hands were all selected varieties, at least 10 yuan in the flower shop. Although these were all Feng Tianda's, they were given by Qin Haodong. So these people would not thank Feng Tianda at all. On the contrary, they all appreciated Qin Haodong's kindness. Nalan Wuxia was startled by the loud shouting. She didn't understand why so many people supported Qin Haodong, and why these people were holding a bunch of roses in their hands. Today was not Valentine's Day. P. Everyone, do you think this young thug is using his power to bully others and gather people to fight? P. Qin Haodong didn't stop and continued to shout. P. Yes. P. This time the noise was even louder than before. It attracted the passers-by to gather in the direction of the commotion. Pete, for this kind of young bully, should we arrest him and punish him severely according to the law? P. Yes. P. The onlookers said in unison again. P. Qin Haodong looked back and said to Nalan Wuxia with a smile, Officer, you see, these people are my witnesses. This is the voice of the masses, this is the public opinion. P. Nalan Wuxia was originally partial to Qin Haodong in her heart. After seeing the scene in front of her, she waved her hand, pointed to Feng Tianda and said to her men, Take him away. Peen, it's not fair, it's not fair. He also beat my people. Feng Tianda pointed to Damao and Ermao, who were still vomiting blood, and said, Look how badly they were beaten. Pete, don't talk nonsense, it's self-defense. Nalan Wuxia shouted coldly, Take him away. P. Getting the order, 2 policemen immediately took Feng Tianda to the police car. P. Seeing that the master was taken away by the police, his bodyguards naturally did not dare to say anything. They lifted Damao and Ermao, who were lying on the ground, supported the injured bodyguard, and left in embarrassment. Pilin Momo was watching Qin Haodong deal with things and her eyes flashed. This little man seemed to be a little unreasonable, but his thinking was very organized when she thought about it carefully. Every time he dealt with a matter, he could grasp the key points and taught the famous Feng Tianda a lesson, but he couldn't say it out. Although with the power of the Feng family, Feng Tianda wouldn't do anything to him even if he went to the crime squad. It meant that Lin's group won today's confrontation and the Feng family lost face. After that, Nalan Wuxia whispered in Qin Haodong's ear, Don't think that I don't know what you're doing. I helped you this time. Remember, you owe me one. Pin, I know. Thank you very much. Do you want to marry me? Qin Haodong said with a smile. P. Promise my ass. P. Nalan Wuxia turned around and stepped on Qin Haodong's foot, which seemed to be unintentional. The 10-centimeter-long foot suddenly made Qin Haodong grimace. P. Feng Tianda was taken away by the police, and the onlookers dispersed. Lin Momo and Qin Haodong entered the office building of Lin's group together. P. When they arrived at the president's office, Lin Momo said to Qin Haodong, Thank you for today, otherwise I really don't know how to end it. P. It's okay. This is what I should do. Feng dared to flirt with my woman in public. It's lucky that I didn't break his 3 legs. P. Hearing that Qin Haodong said that she was his woman, Lin Momo blushed and said, Don't be serious. Go to work, or I'll deduct your salary this month. P. Then she picked up the internal phone on the table and dialed a few numbers. Soon her assistant, Anbairu, came over from the next room. P. After seeing Qin Haodong, Anbairu was slightly surprised and took the initiative to say, Hello, Dr. Qin, you're here. P. Not only are you here, but you also won't leave. Qin Haodong said with a smile. Pete, from today on he will be our company's healthcare doctor, Lin Momo said. Mizan, send Dr. Qin to the infirmary and then I have something to discuss with you when I come back. Pan Bairu nodded and left the president's office with Qin Haodong. Dr. Qin, why did you come to our group? With your medical skills, it's a waste of your talents to be a healthcare doctor. Of course, Qin Haodong would not tell her about his relationship with Lin Momo. He said with a smile, it doesn't matter. Anyway, I'm doing an internship during the holidays. I just need to earn some tuition fees. The infirmary was on the top floor of Lin's group building. When Bairu led Qin Haodong into the door, a short and fat middle-aged doctor was playing mobile games. Seeing Bairu come in, the fat doctor quickly put away his mobile phone and said with a flattering face, Assistant, and you're here. Are you feeling uncomfortable? What medicine do you need? I'll get it for you. I'm here to send someone off. Bairu said and introduced Qin Haodong to the fat doctor. This is Dr. Zhang Jijia, and this is Dr. Qin Haodong who has just come to work in our group. Welcome, young man. Zhang Jijia shook hands with Qin Haodong warmly, probably because Bairu sent him in person. Brother Zhang, please take care of me in the future. Qin Haodong was also very polite. After making some simple arrangements, Bairu left the infirmary. After Bairu left, Zhang Jijia said to Qin Haodong, Little Qin, where did you graduate from? Brother Zhang, I haven't graduated yet. I'm in my senior year. Knowing look appeared on Zhang Jijia's face. In his opinion, Qin Haodong came to Lin's group through his connections and would leave when school started. He would not stay for long. Little Qin, I have something to tell you. The work in our infirmary is not heavy. You can do nothing, but you must remember that you can't treat people. Why? Aren't we doctors? Qin Haodong asked in surprise. You and I both know the level of our doctors. We can't cure many diseases at all. Dr. Liu, who just resigned, almost caused the death of one of our company's employees because of his misdiagnosis. He also almost caused our infirmary to close down. Speaking of this, Zhang Jijia's face showed a touch of anger. If the infirmary was closed, he would lose his job. If a half-baked doctor like him left the infirmary, he would not be able to find a decent job at all. The responsibility of our infirmary is to take some medicine for the employees of our group if they have a cold or fever. We give them whatever they want. There's no need to make trouble. As he was speaking, the door opened and a middle-aged woman in her 30s came in. The woman was generally good-looking, but she looked very gloomy, giving people a very unapproachable feeling. At this time she covered her chest with one hand and frowned. It seemed that she was not feeling well. Director Zhang, what's wrong with you? Zhang Jijia immediately greeted her with a smile. This woman was Zhang Wanlu, the financial director of Lin's group. She was also a real power in the company and was famous for her bad temper, so he had to serve her carefully. Zhang Wanlu said, My heart is not feeling well. My heart is beating very fast. Hurry up and get me a quick-acting heart-saving pill. Wait a minute, I'll get it for you. Zhang Jijia immediately ran to the medicine cabinet, took out a bottle of quick-acting heart-saving pill and gave it to Zhang Wanlu. Zhang Wanlu opened the heart-saving pill, took out a few and was about to take it. At this time she heard someone say, Wait a minute, you don't have a heart disease at all. It's useless to take it. Her frown deepened. She turned her head and saw that it was a young man in his 20s who spoke. She asked, Who are you? Zhang Jijia shivered with fear. He quickly ran to Qin Haodong's ear and whispered, Are you crazy? I just told you that you can't treat people. We can't afford to offend this woman. Don't get yourself into trouble and don't get our infirmary into trouble. After that he said to Zhang Wanlu with a smile, Director Zhang, this is Dr. Qin, the new doctor in our infirmary. He likes to joke. He is joking with you. He thought that he could get away with it, but Qin Haodong ignored him and said, Although I like to joke, I never joke about the patient's condition. Zhang Jijia really wanted to rush to Qin Haodong's mouth, but he couldn't do that. He stamped his feet anxiously. Nonsense. How do you know that I don't have a heart disease? Zhang Wanlu said coldly. I'm a doctor. Of course I can see it. Qin Haodong's expression didn't change at all. He said lightly, Your heart rate is too fast because of cervical spondylosis, not heart disease. If I'm not wrong, you often have complications such as dizziness and nausea. These are all because of your cervical spondylosis. Zhang Wanlu's expression changed slightly. What Qin Haodong said was right. She often had these symptoms. Was it really not a heart disease but a cervical spondylosis? Your disease is very easy to cure. As long as you do a massage, the symptoms will soon be relieved. Qin Haodong said, pulled a chair and put it in front of Zhang Wanlu. I can make your symptoms disappear in 5 minutes. Pete Chin Haodong, don't mess around. The cervical vertebra can't be massaged by anyone. If the massage technique is wrong, it can easily lead to paralysis. Pizhang Jijia was really anxious. Chin Haodong hadn't graduated from college yet. He would stay here for a month or two at most. Even if something happened, he wouldn't suffer too much loss. But he was different. If he really lost his job, who would support his wife and children? Pin brother Zhang, don't worry. I'm sure. Chin Haodong looked confident and turned to look at Zhang Wanlu. Pizhang Jijia saw that he couldn't persuade Chin Haodong, so he said to Zhang Wanlu, Director Zhang, don't listen to little Chin. He is just an intern and hasn't graduated from college yet. If he breaks your neck, no one can bear the responsibility. Pizhang Jijia wanted to stop Chin Haodong even at the risk of falling out with him. Unexpectedly, Zhang Wanlu hesitated for a moment and sat on the chair. I believe you once. Don't let me down. Penis. Zhang Jijia was completely dumbfounded. He didn't understand why Zhang Wanlu, who had always been difficult to get along with, chose to believe Chin Haodong. Was it because he was a handsome guy? In fact, Zhang Wanlu couldn't explain it herself. She felt that the young man in front of her could be trusted for no reason. Pete, don't worry. It's just a minor problem. It will be cured soon. Chin Haodong stood behind Zhang Wanlu and began to massage the cervical vertebra. As he stretched out his 2 hands, Zhang Jijia's heart suddenly jumped, for fear that Chin Haodong would break Zhang Wanlu's neck. But as time went by, Zhang Wanlu's frowning brows slowly stretched out, and then she had a very enjoyable look on her face. This kind of minor problem with the cervical vertebra was really nothing to Chin Haodong. Soon he straightened the slightly dislocated cervical vertebra and dredged the blocked meridians with green wood genuine qi. Then he said, well, pay attention to the balance of work and rest when you work in the future. You will be fine if you move your neck more. Zhang Wanlu stood up in surprise. Her whole body was very relaxed. Not only did the feeling of her heartbeat disappear, but she was also clear and her mental state couldn't be better. She stepped forward and took Chin Haodong's hand and said, Dr. Chin, you are really a magic doctor. Thank you so much. Chapter 49. You're welcome. I'm a doctor. This is what I should do, Chin Haodong said casually. Zhang Wanlu's bad temper was mostly due to her cervical spondylosis. Now that her illness had been completely cured, a bright smile bloomed on her face. Dr. Chin, it's rare for you to have such good medical skills at such a young age. You're also handsome. It's a pity that my daughter is only 10 years old. Otherwise you'd be my son-in-law. Zhang Wanlu sighed as if she was sorry that she couldn't be Chin Haodong's mother-in-law. Then she said, the salary of the infirmary hasn't increased for several years. I'll go back and adjust it. Dr. Chin is such a good doctor, so it's reasonable for him to get more money. Pizhang Jijia was dumbfounded. He couldn't believe what he was seeing. This in turn really cured Zhang Wanlu's illness, and the salary of the infirmary was going to be increased soon. It was like a dream. It wasn't until Zhang Wanlu closed the door of the infirmary that Zhang Jijia came to his senses. Little Chin, I was wrong just now. Please forgive me. Chin Haodong smiled faintly and said, it doesn't matter. The main purpose of his coming here was to protect Lin Momo. He didn't care much about other things. Little Chin, brother Zhang has to tell you that I have my own difficulties. Zhang Jijia said, after Dr. Lu misdiagnosed the staff a few days ago, many people suggested that the group's infirmary be closed. Fortunately, President Lin didn't adopt it. I know my own situation. If I'm laid off, I can't find such a good job again. I have a 70-year-old mother at home and a son in elementary school. Your sister-in-law doesn't have a job. If I'm laid off, I really don't know how to live. That's why I stopped you from treating Director Zhang. But now it seems that I was thinking too much. Your medical skills are 1,000 times better than mine. I'm completely convinced. After the frank confession, Chin Haodong had a better impression of this straightforward fat man. He said, don't worry, brother Zhang. As long as I'm here, the infirmary won't be closed. Thank you, brother. I'll really learn more from you in the future. Zhang Jijia said sincerely. Then the two chatted for a while and their relationship was much closer than before. This time, the door opened and a young girl in her 20s walked in from the outside. It was Zhao Xiaoyan, an employee of the group. Fatty Wong, hurry up and find me some medicine. Zhao Xiaoyan was usually outgoing and she was familiar with Zhang Jijia, so she spoke impolitely. Little swallow, if you feel uncomfortable anywhere, Just give it a massage and it'll be fine. Zhang Jijie was now completely convinced by Qin Haodong's massage technique. Just as he was about to promote it to her, he saw Zhao Xiaoyan's cheeks blushing. She said angrily, "Damn fatty, what are you talking about? P little Yanzi, I'm not talking nonsense. My brother's massage technique is top-notch. Wherever you feel uncomfortable, I can completely cure it. Fatty Wang, if you don't shut up, I'll go to the president and complain about you." Zhao Xiaoyan went to play badminton with her friends last night. Because she had never received formal training and used too much strength, it led to a strain on her right pectoral major. She originally wanted to go to the infirmary to get some red medicine. She didn't expect that Zhang Jijie would give her a massage. Wasn't it obvious that he wanted to take advantage of her? Zhang Jijie didn't understand and looked confused. He just wanted to make a sales introduction to Qin Haodong. Did he say something wrong? Seeing that Fatty Wang was embarrassed, Qin Haodong stepped forward and said, "Hello, I'm Qin Haodong, the new doctor in the infirmary. What can I do for you?" Zhao Xiaoyan had been bickering with Zhang Jijie, and then she saw Qin Haodong next to her. She didn't expect that there would be such a handsome guy here. He was simply the Prince Charming of her dreams. Suddenly, her eyes were full of little stars. "Big sister, what can I do for you?" Qin Haodong said again. "Pina. In fact, I'm only 24 years old. You don't have to call me big sister. Just call me little Yanzi." Zhao Xiaoyan's eyes were full of excitement. She asked, "Are you the doctor that the damn fatty just mentioned who knows how to massage?" I think so. I did learn some massage techniques. Then I pulled my right pectoral major when I was playing basketball yesterday. Can you give me a massage?" Zhang Jijie's eyes widened. Only then did he understand why Zhao Xiaoyan had just been angry with him, but what was the situation now? She took the initiative to ask Qin Haodong for a massage. Was it because Qin Haodong was more handsome than her? Sure enough, short, fat and poor had no human rights. In fact, Qin Haodong had already seen Zhao Xiaoyan's injury. He said, "This is a small problem. It's very easy to cure." After that, he grabbed Zhao Xiaoyan's right arm and made a few stretching movements. At the same time, he used Greenwood Genuine Qi to help her comb the injured part. Meanwhile, go back. Pay more attention to some warm-up activities when you exercise in the future. Zhao Xiaoyan moved a little. She didn't dare to move her right chest because of the pain. On the contrary, she felt very comfortable. "Dr. Qin, your massage technique is really good. Why don't you give me a massage for a while?" Zhao Xiaoyan admired Qin Haodong even more. Her eyes were so charming that they were almost dripping water. Zhang Jijie was very angry. "I said I was going to give a massage and you said you were a hooligan. Now you took the initiative to come to him. It was really unreasonable." Qin Haodong smiled and said, "You are in good health now. There is no problem. You don't need a massage anymore." "Well, Dr. Qin, do you have time in the evening?" "I want to invite you to dinner to express my gratitude." "No, this is my job and I have something to do in the evening. I really don't have time." Seeing that she was rejected, Zhao Xiaoyan couldn't find a reason to continue to stay. She could only reluctantly leave the infirmary. Zhang Jijie came over, patted Qin Haodong on the shoulder and said, "Brother Qin, there are many female employees in our company. You are so handsome and have good medical skills. You will definitely be busy in the future." In fact, trouble came faster than Wang Dawei expected. Zhao Xiaoyan was born with a big mouth. When she returned to the company, she immediately spread the news that a super handsome man had come to the infirmary. Soon, girls from all departments swarmed in. "Excuse me, is Dr. Qin here?" A tall young woman came in. She was Gao Feifei, an employee of Lin's group. "I am. Are you uncomfortable?" Qin Haodong said. After Gao Feifei saw Qin Haodong, there were more stars in her eyes than Zhao Xiaoyan. Handsome. He's so handsome. He's even more handsome than the stars in the TV series. Did I make a wish last night? Did the Bodhisattva really send me a super handsome man? Hey, what's wrong with you? Qin Haodong asked again. Gao Feifei came to her senses and said in a coquettish voice, "Dr. Qin, can you help me to see if I'm uncomfortable?" Zhang Jijie could see it clearly. This woman was obviously not sick. She came here for Qin Haodong. He made a cup of tea and sat quietly watching the show. After Qin Haodong came, not only did he get a raise, but the infirmary was much livelier than before. Of course, Qin Haodong could also see that the woman was very healthy. He said, "There's nothing wrong with your body. Just pay attention to maintain it in the future." Dr. Qin, isn't it too hasty? You should check me and listen to my heartbeat or something. Gao Feifei said, intentionally or unintentionally holding her proud breasts with both hands. P. No need. I'm a Chinese medicine practitioner. Chinese medicine practitioners pay attention to look, listen, question and feel the pulse. I can tell that you're very healthy at a glance. P. It's a Chinese medicine practitioner. A Chinese medicine practitioner should feel his pulse. P. Gao Feifei said and actually went forward to hold Qin Haodong's hand. P. Qin Haodong was speechless. Am I feeling your pulse or are you feeling my pulse? P. In order to get rid of the woman as soon as possible, he had to put his hand on Gao Feifei's wrist. After a while he said, you're really in good health. There's nothing wrong with you. P. Really? But I really have a problem. P. Gao Feifei's pair of peach blossom eyes were fixed on Qin Haodong. It seemed that she wanted to stare into his flesh. P. No. Then tell me what's the problem. P. Gao Feifei held back for a long time and finally said, I have a small pimple here. Can you help me treat it? P. Ahem. Ahem. Zhang Jijia had just taken a sip of tea when he choked and suddenly coughed. Everyone wanted to be healthy, but Gao Feifei was asking for illness. Gao Feifei's eyesight was less than 5 o'clock, and she couldn't see the little P at the corner of her mouth. How could that be considered a problem? P. Qin Haodong was also at his wit's end. He couldn't get angry because of such a small thing. He grabbed Gao Feifei's wrist and sent a wisp of greenwood genuine qi to her. Under the nourishment of greenwood genuine qi, the skin under Gao Feifei's forehead suddenly became smooth, and the small pimple immediately disappeared. Meanwhile, you can go back. P. Gao Feifei took out a small mirror and looked at herself. She was surprised to find that her skin had really become better. P. Oh my God, Dr. Qin, your medical skills are so good. You cured my disease so quickly. Gao Feifei was just about to take the opportunity to show off when 7 or 8 young women rushed in from outside the infirmary. P. Since you're well, hurry up and go. We're still waiting in line. P. Those women pushed Gao Feifei out and then surrounded Qin Haodong. P. Dr. Qin, my chest is a little small. Can you cure it? Dr. Qin, I always feel empty, lonely and cold. Can you help me find a way? Dr. Qin, I can't sleep alone at night. Do you have any good ideas? Why don't you come to my home to treat me at night? As time went by, the number of women in the infirmary didn't decrease. On the contrary, there were more and more women in the infirmary. Finally, Zhang Jijia was pushed into the corridor. P. Qin Haodong was also troubled. Only a few of these women were really here to see a doctor. Most of them were here to take advantage of him and take advantage of him. It was really annoying. It was finally noon. He finally sent these women out and went to the group's cafeteria with Zhang Jijia for lunch. P. Brother Qin, sit here and wait. I'll treat you at noon. After you came, our infirmary became very popular. P. Zhang Jijia said and walked to the lunch window. Qin Haodong didn't refuse. It was his first day here, so he was not familiar with the situation. He chose an empty table and sat down. P. Not long after he sat down, he was immediately surrounded by a group of women. P. Dr. Qin, I ordered braised pork at noon. Let's eat together. Braised pork is too greasy. I have steamed fish here. Dr. Qin, eating more fish is good for your health. You have too many fish bones. What if you hurt Dr. Qin? I have braised prawns here. In the blink of an eye, Qin Haodong was surrounded by the women of Lin's group. There were all kinds of dishes in front of him. When Zhang Jijia came back after ordering the food, he was surprised to find that there was no seat for him. Chapter 50. Lin Momo also had lunch in the cafeteria at noon, but the senior executives of the company had a separate private room, not with the ordinary employees. When she finished lunch and walked out, she happened to see Qin Haodong surrounded by beautiful women. Her face changed and she said to Nbairu next to her, ask Dr. Qin to come to my office later. I'm a little uncomfortable. Qin Haodong ate very awkwardly. He hastily took a bite and ran out of the group of beautiful women. As soon as he walked out of the cafeteria, he saw Nbairu standing at the door and looking at him with a smile. Mizan, what's the matter? Qin Haodong asked. President Lin said that she's a little uncomfortable. She wants you to go and have a look. P.O. Qin Haodong agreed and followed Nbairu to Lin Momo's office. He thought to himself, Mom was fine in the morning. Why did she suddenly feel uncomfortable? After arriving at the president's office, Nbairu went back to her room. Qin Haodong looked at Lin Momo and did not see anything wrong with her body. Momo, what's wrong with you? Qin Haodong asked. Lin Momo had been staring at Qin Haodong, which made him feel uncomfortable. After a while she said, "Why? Can't I come to you if I'm not sick? Did I spoil your fun?" Qin Haodong was slightly stunned, but he immediately understood and said with a smile, "I know. You're feeling uncomfortable." Knowing that Lin Momo was jealous of him, Qin Haodong held her in his arms. When he was about to take advantage of her, the phone in his pocket rang. "Pete, who's calling at this time?" Qin Haodong took out the phone from his pocket in annoyance and looked at it. It was Nalin Wushuang's phone number. He pressed the answer button and heard the person on the phone say, "Dr. Qin, Grandpa has gathered the first batch of soldiers who retired because of injuries. They have all arrived at Saber's place. When will you come to see them?" "P.O. So soon." Qin Haodong was slightly surprised. These people used to be excellent soldiers. Some were even the king of soldiers in a region. Because of their injuries, they had to leave the army. When they heard that someone could cure their injuries, they immediately rushed over. They were anxious, so naturally they arrived quickly. Qin Haodong said, "Well, come and pick me up. We'll go there now." After hanging up the phone, Lin Momo asked, "What's up, Pete? I'm busy with something. I'll give you a surprise in a few days. I'm going out in the afternoon, so I can't pick up the little fellow with you tonight." After saying that, Qin Haodong kissed Lin Momo on the cheek and walked out. When he reached the door, he turned back and said, "I don't think Dongfeng Liang's people are very reliable. You should be careful when you go out." Lin Momo said, "Don't worry. They're just a little weak, but I'm in the city. Nothing should happen to me." Qin Haodong didn't say anything more. He decided to cure the divine mercenaries as soon as possible and replace Dongfeng Liang as soon as possible. When he arrived downstairs of Lin's group, Nalin Wushuang was already waiting there in a Maserati. "Pete, so fast?" He opened the car door and got in. "I happen to be in the city. I want to do something for you." Then Nalin Wushuang threw 2 small red books to Qin Haodong. Qin Haodong took a look and found that it was the dog raising certificate of 2 little snow mastiffs. "Very efficient," he said, and put the small book in his pocket. "Pete, how dare I not do what great Dr. Qin asked me to do?" Then Nalin Wushuang started the Maserati and drove in the direction of the military sanatorium. The house where the divine mercenaries lived was already full of people. Some of them were holding crutches, some were sitting in wheelchairs, and some were even lying on stretchers. However, all of them had sharp eyes, and their bodies exuded a strong murderous aura. "Old man, can the person you're talking about really cure my injury?" Middle-aged man lying on a stretcher asked Nalin Jia. His name was Qin Fugue, who used to be a famous soldier in the Jiangnan military region. But in a mission, his spine was injured by the shrapnel of an explosion, resulting in high paralysis. Because the shrapnel was embedded in the spine, it was too close to the nerves. He had seen experts from all over the world, but they couldn't remove the shrapnel, so he could only be paralyzed in bed. Nalin Jia laughed and pointed to Saber, who was busy next to him, and said, "How could I lie to you? You see him. His injury was much more serious than yours, but he was still saved by the little magic doctor. Now he is full of vigor." Qin Fugue's eyes flashed with a touch of palpitation. From a soldier king to a waste who could only lie in bed and linger at death's door, only he knew the pain. After receiving a call from Nalin Jia, who said that someone could cure his injury, he immediately asked his family to send him here overnight. His heart was full of the desire to return to the battlefield. At this time, there was a roar of a motor outside the room. Saber said, "Miss Nalin has brought the boss." The 6 members of the divine mercenaries were now full of gratitude and admiration for Qin Haodong, and immediately went out to greet him. The wounded soldiers in the room also looked over here, wanting to see what kind of person the legendary doctor who could cure their injuries was. But when Qin Haodong walked into the room surrounded by Nalin Jia and the divine mercenaries, these people all showed disappointment on their faces. This doctor was really too young. It was difficult for such a young person, whether it was Chinese medicine or Western medicine, to get a sense of recognition. If the convener was not Nalin Jia, perhaps someone would have already left. Qin Fugue was also a little disappointed, but out of trust in Nalin Jia, he did not say anything. Little magic doctor, this is Qin Fugue. He was a famous soldier king in our Jiangnan military region. Later, he accidentally stepped on the enemy's landmine during a mission. Although other shrapnel was taken out, one was stuck in the gap of the spine, and no one dared to move it. Nalin Jia introduced Qin Fugue's situation to Qin Haodong. Let me have a look. Qin Haodong sat down at the head of Qin Fugue's bed, reached out to grasp his pulse and began to feel it. At the same time, he separated a wisp of green wood genuine qi into Qin Fugui's body to feel the details of the shrapnel at the spine. The position of the shrapnel was indeed very special. It was just embedded in the middle of the fourth and fifth vertebrae of the spine. Although the spinal cord was not injured, it was also tightly attached. No wonder ordinary doctors did not dare to take it out. Seeing Qin Haodong withdraw his right hand, Nailan Jie hurriedly asked, "Little magic doctor, how is the situation? Can it be cured?" No problem, but it's a little troublesome. After Qin Haodong finished speaking, he asked Saber and the others to help Qin Fugui get up from the bed and sit cross-legged. He took off his shirt, then took out the silver needles and pierced 9 of them in succession at the position where the shrapnel had been shot. The purpose of this was to protect the surrounding spine and tissues from being damaged later through the silver needles. After everything was done, Qin Haodong took a deep breath and suddenly slapped Qin Fugui's chest. His palm fell, a blood-stained shrapnel suddenly popped out of Qin Fugui's back and hit the wall behind him with a ding. Everyone was shocked. They had never seen such a way to remove the shrapnel. Qin Haodong took out some prepared medicine and smeared it on Qin Fugui's back. "Well, you can now simply get down and walk, but you can't do strenuous exercise. After 3 days of rest, everything will return to normal." Qin Fugui sat on the bed in a daze. He couldn't believe that he had been paralyzed for 3 years. That was it? After coming back to his senses, he tried to get out of bed with the help of Saber. After a few minutes of adaptation, he found that he had really regained his ability to move. The man, who was like an Iron Man, burst into tears. "Dr. Qin, thank you. My life is yours. From now on, I will never go west if you ask me to go east." Qin Fugui was about to kneel down when Qin Haodong stopped him. "Brother Qin, I saved you because I respect you. No matter what choice you make, I will respect it, and I won't charge a penny for the consultation." After Qin Haodong finished speaking, he let Qin Fugui lie down and rest. Then he began to treat the next wounded person. Most of the people here knew Soldier King Qin Fugui and knew how serious his injury was. Seeing Qin Fugui being cured by Qin Haodong in the blink of an eye, hope immediately rose in these people's eyes. No one wanted to become disabled. No one wanted to become useless, let alone these excellent soldiers who had been brilliant for a time. Although there was desire in these people's eyes, there was no scramble for treatment. Who would be treated first was completely controlled by Nailan Jie. This strong discipline made Qin Haodong secretly admire him. In the next 2 hours, Qin Haodong cured the 30 wounded soldiers one by one. Some of these people had been injured for a long time, and their injuries were more serious. After treatment, they needed to recover for a period of time. Those with less serious injuries had fully recovered after treatment. These people had been injured for a long time. When they came, they had more or less hope out of trust in Nailan Jie. They did not expect Qin Haodong's medical skills to be so magical that he could completely cure them so quickly. They were all excellent soldiers with their own pride. Letting them stand up again was equivalent to giving them a second life. Salute. Represented by Qin Fugui, everyone saluted Qin Haodong together to express their inner feelings. Qin Haodong said, "Everyone, Mr. Nailan has already told you about my establishment of a security company, but I want to emphasize one thing. My treatment is entirely out of your contribution to Wuxia. Out of respect for you, it has nothing to do with working in the security company. If you don't want to stay, you can leave at any time. If you want to stay, I will welcome you with open arms. The salary standard is 3 times that of other similar industries. And whether you leave or stay, I will not charge a penny for this treatment." We are willing. These people said in unison. On the one hand, they really appreciated Qin Haodong from the bottom of their hearts. On the other hand, they had all left the army and it was difficult to find such a good job elsewhere. Since everyone was willing to stay, Qin Haodong was also very happy. These people would be his future team. Qin Haodong gave the 15 million yuan he won from Dongfang Liang to Saber and asked him to hurry up to prepare for the establishment of the security company. After everything was arranged, Qin Haodong got in Nailan Wushuang's car again. "Where are you going?" Nailan Wushuang asked. Qin Haodong said, "To the wholesale market of medicinal materials. I want to buy some medicinal materials." He now felt that the recovery time of Saber and others in a week was too slow. Lin Momo was in urgent need of manpower, so he decided to refine some small spirit culturing pills to speed up the recovery of the divine mercenaries and improve their cultivation. Chapter 51. Lin Momo went to pick up Tang Tang as usual after work, but shortly after getting in the car, she suddenly found that the direction of the motorcade was not Lin's villa. "Pete, stop!" she shouted at the intercom in the car. "Dongfang Liang, what the hell is going on?" The Rolls-Royce stopped by the roadside. As soon as the door opened, Dongfang Liang and his two men got in Lin Momo's car. "Miss Lin, what's the matter?" Dongfang Liang asked cheerfully. "We're going in the wrong direction," Lin Momo said. "Yes, this is the way to send you home, but not to Lin's villa, but to the netherworld." Dongfang Liang's face changed and he said with a gloomy look, "Someone paid me to send you home." Lin Momo's heart sank. The bodyguard hired by her family turned out to be a killer sent by someone else. It was hard to guard against a thief in the family. The killer had sneaked into her home. She could survive the first two assassinations, but it was all thanks to Qin Haodong. Now Dongfang Liang took advantage of Qin Haodong's absence to kill her. What should she do? Dongfang Liang sneered and waved to the two men behind him. "Tie them up, Pete, help!" Lin Momo screamed, but the Rolls-Royce was so closed that the passers-by outside could not hear her at all, but her mouth was stuffed with a towel by the mercenaries. Dongfang Liang said with a sinister smile, "Miss Lin, you are also a smart person. If you cooperate honestly, you can live a little longer, otherwise I will send you and your daughter to hell now." Lin Momo looked at the frightened little fellow next to her and calmed down instantly. She knew that if she angered Dongfang Liang, it would be more troublesome. What she had to do now was to delay as much as possible, hoping that Qin Haodong could bring a miracle to her and her daughter this time. Soon Dongfang Liang's two men tied up Lin Momo and the little fellow, and the motorcade drove quickly to the suburbs. When Qin Haodong came to the Chinese medicine wholesale market, he asked Nailan Wushuang to go back and entered the market alone. It was nearly evening and there were not many people in the market. Some vendors had begun to close their stalls. He was about to buy some medicinal materials when his cell phone suddenly rang. It was Lin Ziyuan. "Dr. Qin, is Momo with you?" "No, I came out to treat a patient in the afternoon. Now I am alone in the medicine market." Lin Ziyuan said anxiously, "Normally she should have taken me home for dinner at this time, but she didn't come back today. On the contrary, I couldn't get through to her several times." Hearing this, Qin Haodong's heart tightened, and he had a bad feeling. "Mr. Lin, haven't you called Dongfang Liang?" "I tried but I couldn't get through." At this time not only Lin Ziyuan, but also Qin Haodong was a little flustered. According to the current time, Lin Momo was very likely to be with the little fellow. Now that the mother and daughter had disappeared together, it made his heart jump. "Mr. Lin, please continue to call them. I'll think of something right away." Qin Haodong hung up the phone and took a deep breath, forcing himself to calm down. Lin Momo suddenly disappeared. It seemed that he could only ask Nailan Wuxia for help. However, before he could call Nailan Wuxia, the phone in his hand rang again. This time it was a strange number. Although he had never seen this phone number, he keenly felt that it must have something to do with Lin Momo's disappearance. When the phone was connected, a man said proudly, "Qin Haodong, it's me, Dongfang Liang." Qin Haodong immediately recognized that it was Dongfang Liang's voice and asked eagerly, "Where are you?" "Where is Momo?" "What? Are you anxious?" On the other side of the phone, Dongfang Liang laughed arrogantly, "The little girl surnamed Lin is with me. It's good now, but I don't know what will happen later. By the way, the little girl is also with me. Dongfang Liang, I tell you, if you dare to touch a finger of them, I will let you never be reincarnated." Qin Haodong said with a strong killing intent. He now regretted it very much. It seemed that he was really careless. Dongfang Liang must have kidnapped Lin Momo and her daughter directly after picking up the little fellow. If he had been with them all the time, this would not have happened. "Don't scare me. Do you think I'm scared?" On the other side of the phone, Dongfang Liang's tone changed and he said bitterly, "To tell you the truth, this time someone paid me to come to Wuxia with the purpose of killing Lin Momo, so I pretended to accept Lin Ziyuan's invitation. After arriving at the Lin family, I thought Lin Momo was a good woman. If I could get her, it would be better to inherit the Lin family's hundreds of millions of property than to be a mercenary. In that case, Lin Momo wouldn't have to die. But it's all because of you. If you hadn't jumped out to fight against me, I wouldn't have to choose this road." After learning that Lin Momo and the little fellow were fine for the time being, Qin Haodong calmed down. He knew that Dongfang Liang must have a purpose for calling him, otherwise he would not waste time here. "Tell me, what else do you want to do?" "What do I want to do? I want you to kneel down and kowtow to me. I want you to die." Dongfang Liang gnashed his teeth and said. Even Qin Haodong could feel his monstrous hatred. Pingwell, where are you? I'll come to you. Qin Haodong said lightly. As long as he could see Dongfang Liang, he was confident that he could save Lin Momo and the little fellow. Pete, I know you don't want to leave the little girl surnamed Lin. Then come here. But I'll tell you that you can only come here alone. If there's another person around you, you'll have to wait to collect the corpse. Ping, wait a minute, how can you make me believe that what you said is true? Ping, it's simple. I'll make you believe it right away. Dongfang Liang said and hung up the phone. Soon Qin Haodong's cell phone rang and a MMS was sent. Opening the photo, Qin Haodong's eyes were full of rage. In the photo, Lin Momo's hands were tied behind her back, and her legs were tied together. She couldn't move at all. Even the little fellow was tied to her side. The eyes of the mother and daughter were full of horror. At this time, the phone in his hand rang again. Qin Haodong, I didn't lie to you, did I? Tell me, where are you? Qin Haodong's eyes were full of killing intent. Upon the other side of the phone, Dongfang Liang laughed arrogantly again. After a while he said faintly, Jade Dragon Lake Park. Come here. You must hurry up. Don't be late. Qin Haodong immediately hung up the phone and ran to the entrance of the medicinal materials market at full speed. Upon the other side of the phone, in a dark room, Dongfang Liang put down his cell phone, turned to look at Lin Momo and the little fellow in the corner and laughed. Little girl, are you looking forward to it? Your little lover is going to find you. Unfortunately, no matter how powerful he is, he doesn't know you are here. There's nothing in Jade Dragon Lake. After that, he laughed arrogantly again. Bad guy, my papa is very powerful. He will come to save me and mama. The little fellow leaned against Lin Momo and said. Dongfang Liang stopped smiling, took a black pistol from the side, took it to the little fellow and said, Little girl, do you know what this is? This is a gun. No matter how powerful your papa is, can he be more powerful than a gun? He turned to Lin Momo and said, Don't worry, I'm just playing now. I'll definitely tell him the real address later, and then shoot him in front of you. Lin Momo said, Aren't you just doing it for money? How much money do you think he will give you? I'll pay 10 times as much as you let us go. Dongfang Liang laughed again and said, I know you are very rich, but some money can only be spent if you are alive. If I let you go, can I still leave Wuxia alive? Then can you tell me who hired you? I can't say that. Although I am greedy for money and like women, I still have to abide by the rules of the mercenary world. As soon as he finished speaking, the mobile phone beside him rang. He glanced at the number, went to the corner of the room and pressed the answer button. How's it going? A strange voice came from the other side of the phone. It was obvious that someone had used voice-changing software. It's done. Lin Momo is in my hands now. Great, you kill her right now and I'll send you the money right away. The voice on the phone said eagerly. Don't worry, I still need her to solve some personal grievances, and it's a pity to kill such a beautiful woman directly. I'll have fun with my brothers later and then send her on her way. When Lin Momo heard Dongfang Liang's words, her face turned pale, and her eyes were full of despair. The voice on the phone said, Don't underestimate this woman. The 2 assassinations I arranged before failed to kill her, so you must kill her immediately now. No, I haven't finished my business yet. Well, I'll send her on her way in 2 hours. The voice on the other side was obviously very dissatisfied and cried, Dongfang Liang, don't forget that I hired you. You must do as I say and kill that woman immediately. Dongfang Liang smiled and said carelessly, I did accept your employment, but we agreed that I would kill Lin Momo within 3 days. Now it's just a little more than a day and there's still a lot of time. As long as you kill her now, I can give you another 5 million yuan. Dongfang Liang's face flashed with a trace of fierceness and he said, Money is good, but I have to avenge myself. After that, he hung up the phone directly. Seeing that he had finished the phone call, a little mercenary next to him came over and said, Brother, this is 5 million yuan. Why don't we kill this little girl now? Dongfang Liang sneered, Don't worry about him. As long as Lin Momo is in our hands, he has to give us another 10 million yuan. Besides, that guy has my 15 million yuan in his hands, and we must make him spit it out. The little mercenary said, Brother, is that okay? Won't we lose our credibility then? Dongfang Liang said, I've already thought about it. Let's do a big job this time and then find a place to live comfortably. At that time we won't be mercenaries anymore. What's the use of credibility? Brother is wise. The little mercenary said with a flattering face. Pichin Haodong rushed out of the wholesale market of medicinal materials and happened to see a Honda car coming from the opposite side. He suddenly stood in the middle of the road and stopped the car. The Honda driver was startled and quickly stepped on the brake. Finally, the Honda car stopped close to Chin Haodong's legs. Boy, are you looking for death? The Honda driver was a middle-aged man with a Mediterranean haircut. He got out of the car angrily and wanted to argue with Chin Haodong. Police, emergency requisition of your car. As Chin Haodong spoke, he slapped a red booklet into the middle-aged man's hand. Then he got into his Honda and sped away. Seeing the car driven away, the middle-aged man came to his senses. He glanced at the small booklet in his hand on which there was a cute white puppy, and below it were 3 big words, Dog Raising Certificate. What the F asterisk CK? Just because you have a dog raising license you stole my car. Robbery, robbery. The middle-aged man shouted hard, but there were not many people around. He knew it was useless to shout like this, so he quickly took out his mobile phone and dialed a phone number. Cousin, my car was robbed just now. It's right across from the medicinal wholesale market. That brat took my car with a dog-raising license. After the phone call, the middle-aged man looked at the direction where Chin Haodong disappeared and said fiercely, Boy, how dare you steal my car? When my cousin comes, he will skin you. Chin Haodong didn't care whose car it was. He drove to the extreme. The Honda car quickly passed through the traffic and flew in the direction of Jade Dragon Lake. In less than a quarter of an hour, he arrived at the gate of Jade Dragon Lake Park. He parked the car and rushed out. The park was full of people who had eaten and walked here after dinner. He rushed straight to the Jade Dragon Lake, but still didn't find anything strange. He took out his mobile phone and dialed back according to the phone number, but the other party's phone was turned off. How cautious. Chin Haodong was so angry that his chest was burning, but there was nothing he could do. He could only wait quietly. About 3 minutes later, the phone in his hand rang again. I've arrived at Jade Dragon Lake. Where are you? There was a burst of arrogant laughter on the other side of the phone. Sorry, I was a little nervous just now and gave the wrong address. I haven't been to Jade Dragon Lake for long. Dongfang Liang, what are you going to do? Chin Haodong roared angrily. Don't be angry. Aren't you a doctor? Anger hurts the liver. You should know this. Dongfang Liang seemed to be very satisfied with Chin Haodong's reaction and said, Well, let's play a game, P. Chapter 52. What do you want? Chin Haodong asked, suppressing the anger in his heart. Why are you in a hurry? Are you angry and worried about your woman? Dongfang Liang laughed arrogantly. Aren't you very good at fighting? Aren't you very good at fighting? Aren't you good at driving? Aren't you still being played by me now? He seemed to be very satisfied with the effect he had caused and said proudly, Play with me honestly. When I'm done, I'll let you see your woman. Now the game officially starts. I'll give you an hour. If you can come to me within an hour, we can meet and talk. If you can't come, I'll be very bored here. Maybe I'll find some fun with your woman. To be honest, the little girl surnamed Lin is so charming with clothes. If she takes them off, I don't know how beautiful she will be. I'm really looking forward to it. Dongfang Liang, if you dare to touch a single hair on her head, I will make you wish you were dead. Chin Haodong roared, and his murderous aura was overflowing, scaring the people around him to stay away. Chin Haodong, don't scare me. It's useless. Dongfang Liang said, Let's make a deal. If you come here within an hour, you can see your woman. After an hour, you can't. When I'm done, I'll kill the big one and sell the small one to Africa. The little girl is so cute. There are many rich people with special hobbies in Africa. I'm sure I can sell her for a good price. Dongfang Liang laughed unscrupulously when he said this, stimulating Chin Haodong crazily. Tell me your address. Chin Haodong's aura was cold and frightening. Dongfang Liang had touched his reverse scale one after another. He had already sentenced Dongfang Liang to death in his heart. Get to the top of Yunding Mountain within an hour. Now I'll start the countdown. Don't be late. Dongfang Liang laughed and hung up the phone. The little mercenary next to him said, Brother, if you want to deal with this guy, just call him over. Why do you make it so troublesome? The smile on Dongfang Liang's face disappeared, and he said seriously, This little doctor is not simple and even very powerful. We must be careful. Just now, I wanted to stimulate his nerves and make him angry. When people are angry, they will lose their rationality. That way, it will be much easier for us to fight. P the mercenary fiddled with the gun in his hand and said, "Big brother, aren't you being too nervous? No matter how strong he is, can he be stronger than the guy in our hands?" P Dongfang Liang said, "Don't forget that he has 15 million yuan in his hand. If he kills me directly, where can he get the money from? Catch him alive first and then kill him after getting the money." P looking at the two people in front of her, Lin Momo's heart was extremely contradictory. On the one hand, she hoped that Qin Haodong could come to save her and the little fellow as soon as possible. On the other hand, she was worried that Qin Haodong would be in danger. These people said no matter how powerful Qin Haodong was, he couldn't be more powerful than a gun. Dongfang Liang and his men were using real guns. Pat J. Dragon Lake Park, Qin Haodong got back in the car and drove quickly. Although he also thought that the place Dongfang Liang said this time might be fake, the reality didn't allow him to choose, so he had to go. The Honda sped on the highway like a fast fish, racing against time in the traffic. At this time, more and more vehicles gathered behind him. At first, Qin Haodong didn't pay attention, but later he slowly found that these cars were following him. But at this time he had no energy to pay attention to these. He drove forward crazily and left those vehicles far behind. 15 minutes later he arrived at Mount Yunding. Just as he stopped the car, his cell phone rang. "Qin Haodong, with your driving skills, you should run very fast. Have you arrived at Mount Yunding?" Dongfang Liang said with a smile. "I'm here. Where are you?" I said, "I'm playing the game. There are still more than 40 minutes. Why are you in such a hurry?" "I just changed my position. Now you go back to the original road and go west. I'll tell you the specific location later. Remember, you must go west. Don't get the wrong direction." After Dongfang Liang finished, he hung up the phone again. Although it was very uncomfortable to be led by the nose, Qin Haodong had no choice but to get in the car again, ready to go in the direction Dongfang Liang said. But as soon as he turned the car around, 6 or 7 cars galloped over and surrounded him with a harsh braking sound. Bald middle-aged man jumped out of a Land Rover SUV, pointed to Qin Haodong in the car and shouted, "Cousin, this is the guy who took my car." Qin Haodong understood why so many cars were chasing him. It turned out that they were all called by this bald man. He got out of the car and was about to explain when he saw a young man jump out of the Land Rover. It was Zhang Daji, whom he had met in the military sanatorium a few days ago. Zhang Daji was also slightly stunned when he saw Qin Haodong, and then a grim sneer appeared on his face. Last time, Qin Haodong won a Korean ginseng worth tens of millions of yuan, and he was severely beaten up, which made him angry. But because of the power of the Nalin family, he did not dare to find trouble with Qin Haodong. But he didn't expect that he would meet Qin Haodong again today, and this guy had robbed his cousin's car, which made him very happy. The opportunity for revenge had finally come. Even the Nalin family could not say anything to send a robber to the Public Security Bureau. He took a few steps forward, looked at Qin Haodong proudly and said, "Qin, how dare you rob a car in broad daylight? Come with me to the Public Security Bureau." Qin Haodong said patiently, "I'm not robbing the car. I just borrowed it urgently. I will return it immediately after I use it and I will compensate for all the losses." Zhang Daji sneered and said, "Borrowed it urgently? Who agreed to lend it to you? You cheated my cousin's car with a dog certificate. This is robbery." Zhang Daji, "I will definitely give you an explanation tomorrow, but I have something urgent to deal with now. You should get out of my way quickly." Seeing time passing by, Qin Haodong slowly lost his patience. Extremely urgent?" Zhang Daji said with a hint of disdain, "You are just a little doctor. What kind of urgent matter can you have? Are you going to save the earth? Do you think you are a Superman with a few moves? Why don't you wear your underwear outside?" I'll say it again. Get out of here." Qin Haodong looked at the time again. It had been almost half an hour, but he didn't find any clue. He didn't know where Dongfang Liang was keeping Lin Momo and the little fellow. This made him very anxious, but Zhang Daji stopped him and kept talking. If he hadn't been surrounded by other cars, he would have rushed out. He wouldn't have talked nonsense here. Boy, you still dare to be arrogant in front of me." Zhang Daji was full of confidence today. He had brought more than a dozen people with him. He waved his hand and shouted to the bodyguards behind him, "Teach him a lesson." These bodyguards didn't know how powerful Qin Haodong was. They thought it would be easy to deal with such a thin white face. They immediately swarmed up and scrambled to show off in front of their master. This time, Qin Haodong's eyes were red, and he was full of murderous intent. Every second was very important to him, so he would not hold back. With all his strength, these bodyguards didn't know what was going on. They flew out like scarecrows wailing on the ground. Zhang Daji was shocked. His bodyguards had been specially trained, and their fighting power was far beyond that of ordinary people. He didn't expect that they were still vulnerable in front of Qin Haodong. The bald man was also startled. He was no longer as arrogant as before and hurriedly hid behind Zhang Daji. After dealing with these small fish and shrimp, Qin Haodong stepped in front of Zhang Daji and said with killing intent, "Tell your men to get out of the way. Hurry up." Zhang Daji shivered with fear. A strong urge to pee rushed to the top of his head, and he almost wet his pants. Don't mess around. I'm telling you, I've already called the police. They'll be here soon." He had indeed called the police on his way here. As soon as he finished speaking, 2 police cars quickly drove over. After the cars were parked, 7 or 8 policemen got out, led by Nalan Wuxia. Seeing Nalan Wuxia, Zhang Daji was relieved. His family was on good terms with the Nalan family. Although Nalan Wushuang would protect this white face, Nalan Wuxia would certainly not. He knew this woman very well. She was hot-tempered and hated evil. She would definitely help him teach Qin Haodong a lesson today. Wuxia, you're finally here. This guy is lawless. He stole my cousin's car and even beat people. You must teach him a lesson. The bald man also said, "Yes, police comrade, he stole my car. We must arrest him." Nalan Wuxia happened to be on duty that day. The first case after she got to work was related to Qin Haodong. She saw him again when it was almost time to get off work. She believed in Qin Haodong's character. She also knew that he had a Lamborghini Centenario, which was worth more than 40 million yuan. How could he rob such a broken Honda? There must be another reason. Qin Haodong, what the hell is going on? Can't you make less trouble for me? I don't have time now. I'll explain it to you later. Hurry up and ask them to get out of the way. I'm in a hurry to save people. Qin Haodong roared crazily and looked extremely anxious. Only then did Nalan Wuxia realize that Qin Haodong in front of her was different. In the past, no matter what happened, no matter who he was facing, he was always smiling and calm. But now he was like a devil, exuding a strong murderous aura. Zhang Daji said, "Wuxia, you've seen how arrogant this guy is. Hurry up and catch him." Nalan Wuxia ignored him and asked Qin Haodong with concern, "What on earth happened?" Don't ask. There's no time to explain. Trust me and get out of the way." Qin Haodong turned his head and went back to the Honda. Wuxia, he's too arrogant. He doesn't take the police seriously at all. Zhang Daji wanted to take the opportunity to make Qin Haodong hate him, but Nalan Wuxia turned back and shouted, "Get out of the way. Make way for him." Zhang Daji didn't expect this result. He was confused and didn't know what was going on. Wuxia, are you sure you're not mistaken? He stole my cousin's car. Don't you understand what I said? If you don't get out of the way, I'll arrest you for obstructing official business. Nalan Wuxia said with a cold expression. Chapter 53. Zhang Daji didn't dare to provoke Nalan Wuxia, so he immediately retreated to the side. However, he was not willing to let Qin Haodong go, so he secretly poked the bald man next to him. The bald middle-aged man immediately understood. No matter who Nalan Wuxia was, she was a policeman after all, and he was the victim who lost his car. He stepped forward and said, "Comrade police, this is my car, and that man is a robber. You can't let him go like this." Zhang Daji was secretly proud. He thought to himself, "You are a policeman. You can't let the robber go in front of the victim." "How much did you pay for your car?" Nalan Wuxia asked coldly. 250,000 yuan. The bald man replied subconsciously. There are 300,000 yuan in this card. I'll buy your car. Get out of the way." After Nalan Wuxia finished speaking, she stuffed a bank card into the bald man's hand, then pushed him away and quickly cleared away. Qin Haodong couldn't care less anymore. He stepped on the accelerator and the Honda suddenly rushed out. Zhang Daji was so angry that he couldn't do anything about it. He couldn't figure out what magic this gigolo had. The sisters of the Nalan family liked him so much, and Nalan Wuxia didn't hesitate to take out 300,000 yuan for him. The bald man did spend 250,000 yuan when he bought the car, but it had been used for more than a year. At most he could sell it for 200,000 yuan. Now he got 100,000 yuan more. He was so happy that he couldn't close his mouth. Naturally he wouldn't say anything. Qin Haodong once again drove to the limit. After driving for less than 5 minutes, the mobile phone next to him rang. He slowed down the car and answered the mobile phone with no expression on his face. Upon the other side of the phone, Dongfang Liang was still arrogant. Qin Haodong, how is it? Is this game fun? You don't want to tell me this, do you? Qin Haodong said coldly. Of course not. I just want to tell you that we are here at Jade Dragon Lake again. Come here quickly. By the way, there are still 20 minutes left. You have to hurry up, or you will see a beautiful undressing picture in 20 minutes. After Dongfang Liang finished speaking, he hung up the phone. Qin Haodong stepped on the brake and stopped the car in the middle of the road, causing a burst of curses from the vehicles behind. This feeling of being led by the nose made Qin Haodong crazy, but he couldn't find where the enemy was. He was sure that the address given by Dongfang Liang was fake. This guy was playing with him. If he kept tossing and turning like this, he would not be able to save Lin Momo and the little fellow. He had to find a way. Realizing that he had indeed been too impulsive during this period of time and had lost his original rationality in thinking, he took a deep breath and tried to calm himself down. He began to think about how to solve the predicament in front of him. Time ticked by, his heart suddenly jolted. When he was in the cultivation world, he had once obtained a secret technique called the blood drawing technique from a sect called the blood sect. This secret technique only had one function, and that was to quickly find the person who was related to one's bloodline. Because he had never used it before, he had almost forgotten about it. Although he was now reborn in a body, the power of the soul contained in the bloodline still belonged to his previous life. He didn't know if he could establish a connection with the little fellow through the blood drawing technique. Thinking of this, he bit his fingertip fiercely and performed the blood drawing technique. After the blood flowed out of his index finger, it miraculously did not flow down, but floated up and suspended in the air. Qin Haodong made another gesture and flicked the blood ball in the air. With a burst of red light, the little fellow suddenly appeared in the blood ball. It's done. There was a burst of ecstasy in his heart. He had established a connection with the little fellow through the blood drawing technique, and could accurately feel where the little fellow was. Damn it, Dongfang Liang, the bastard is really hateful. He was hiding nearby but he kept playing with me. Now that he knew where the little fellow was, Qin Haodong would not be led by the nose by Dongfang Liang and drove away. In the room, the little fellow seemed to feel Qin Haodong's breath and whispered to Lin Momo, "Don't be afraid, Mama, Papa is coming to save us." Well, Papa will come. Tang be good. Lin Momo comforted the little fellow. In fact, the hope in her heart was getting smaller and smaller. Dongfang Liang obviously did not tell Qin Haodong the real address. In such a big Jiangnan city, unless he was an immortal, how could he find here? Although their voices were very low, they were heard by Dongfang Liang. He laughed and came over to the mother and daughter and said, "What? Haven't you given up yet? Are you waiting for your little lover to come to save you? Don't dream. As long as I don't want him to come here, he can't find me anyway." He did have confidence in this regard. After so many years of mercenary work, he still had the ability of anti-reconnaissance. Every time he made a phone call, he would be careful to turn off the phone. Even if the police wanted to locate him, it was impossible. Dongfang Liang stood up and glanced at Lin Momo's curvy figure with a greedy look. He swallowed and said, "We can see each other in 10 minutes. I'm really looking forward to it." Didn't you say there were still 20 minutes? Lin Momo said in a panic. 20 minutes is too long. I can't wait. 10 minutes is just right. When that guy comes, we can watch a good show. After Dongfang Liang said that, he laughed proudly. Shanty town on the outskirts of Jiangnan City had already been included in the demolition scope by the government. All the residents had been evacuated, but the old buildings had not been demolished. Upon the roof of a building, 2 mercenaries were sitting there eating meat and drinking. Not far from them there were 2 black sniper rifles. Third brother, it's almost time. Let's drink less. We have a task later. Mercenary in a camouflage vest said. Old 5, what's the hurry? The boss said that the guy would come in an hour. There are still 15 minutes left. Besides, it's easy to deal with a little doctor. Don't be so nervous. Come on, have 2 more drinks. Third brother, I heard that this guy is very powerful. We'd better be careful. What's so powerful about him? He just knows a few moves. The 2 of us are snipers. No matter how good he is, what's the use? We can still send him to hell with 1 shot. Really? Let's send you to hell first. Just as the mercenary finished speaking, a cold voice came from behind him. Before he could turn around, his neck was broken with a crack. You, the other sniper, Old 5, was scared out of his wits when he saw Qin Haodong suddenly appear on the roof. He didn't understand how Qin Haodong found him here. He reached for the pistol at his waist, but before he could pull it out, he was strangled by a big hand, and then he lost consciousness. Qin Haodong's chest was full of anger at this time. He would not show any mercy. In the blink of an eye he killed 2 snipers. After killing these 2 threats he did not stop. His body turned into a shadow and rushed downstairs. In front of an old building, a mercenary with yellow hair hummed an unknown song and walked to the corner. Then he untied his trousers and began to pee. The mercenary, like the 2 snipers on the roof, thought that Qin Haodong could not find here before the time was up, so he did not enter a tense state of combat readiness. When he just took out his gun before he could open the P valve, he heard a crisp sound and then he lost consciousness. After Qin Haodong broke the mercenary's neck, he slowly put the body on the ground, and then walked quietly into the building. With his extraordinary perception, it was very easy to deal with these targets who had not yet entered a state of combat readiness. Upon the 2nd floor, 2 mercenaries were smoking and guarding the stairs with their guns. Suddenly, 2 cold lights flew out of the smoke and disappeared between their eyebrows like lightning. The 2 mercenaries died in an instant and their bodies fell backward. A figure quickly held their bodies and slowly put them on the ground without making any sound. Qin Haodong shot the 2 mercenaries with silver needles. He calculated that Dongfang Liang had brought a total of 8 mercenaries. He had now killed 5 and there were 3 left. Upon the 3rd floor, 3 mercenaries were fighting. Lord. The little mercenary who had just followed Dongfang Liang said excitedly, "The boss said that in a few minutes the little girl will be on the bed. After that it will be our turn. Now let's play cards and whoever wins will be the first to be on the bed after the boss." Mercenary beside him said, "Great, I began to drool after seeing the little girl yesterday, and now I can finally satisfy my craving." As soon as he finished speaking, before the obscene smile on his face faded, his eyes suddenly turned over and he fell straight back. Old 6, what's wrong with you? The other 2 mercenaries had already felt that something was wrong, but before they could react, Qin Haodong had grabbed their necks and smashed their heads into smashed watermelons. In the room, Dongfang Liang drove the little mercenary out, and then took off his coat, revealing his strong muscles. He looked at Lin Momo, who was huddled in the corner with the little fellow, and laughed. Little girl, don't have any hope. Your little man is a man, not a god. He can't find here." Although the little fellow was a little afraid of Dongfang Liang, she couldn't help saying, "Big bad guy, nonsense, Papa will come to save us." Little girl, you are still too naive. I played your father like a dog and he is running around on the road. If you don't believe me I can call him now. After that, Dongfang Liang turned to look at Lin Momo and said with an obscene smile, "Call him and let him hear how his woman will feel later." After that, he touched the mobile phone on the table and dialed Qin Haodong's phone number. After the phone was dialed, a series of crisp ringtones rang at the door. Dongfang Liang was startled and quickly turned to look at the door. Who is at the door? As soon as he finished shouting, he heard a loud bang and the door was directly kicked open. A tall and straight body like a javelin appeared at the door. Behind him was the afterglow of the setting sun. Under the golden sunlight, he looked like a god descending from the sky. You're tuning in to the Han Lee's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.